Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. And this one is a little bit different. You can see there's no Fear of Dracula, no Wingspan, even no Gloomhaven. We're in a Euro Truck Simulator here, and we're just going to go off for a little drive. I will explain what all this is about in due course, but we've got to go and pick up our cargo, and I can see it over there's a little flashing arrow over there. So that's where we have to go. So let's get underway. It's just across the street. So once we get underway, I'll be able to explain what all this is all about. We've got quite a drive ahead of us. So let's just try not to crash within the first minute of the video. That would be decent. Yeah, I did turn right. Do I have to go in here?
At the roundabout,
nope.
Take the second exit.
Okay, will do. I got the GPS on. Hopefully that won't be too frustrating during the video. Actually, oh, I should have probably waited a little bit. Absolutely pro driving skills here. The guy who's doing the voice of the GPS is actually the same person who does the voice of Geralt of Rivia.
It's all over now.
The Butcher of Blaviken, i.e. the protagonist from the Witcher series of games, but obviously I haven't got his Geralt voice, although I could equip that. If you want that, I can put that in the next episode. There it is. Not a very exciting cargo. We're just going to take some chocolate to Slovenia. Just a normal day's work on Euro Truck Simulator. Oops. Let me back it up a little bit more. Perfect.
Time to hit the road.
Sweet. Okay, so I'll show you the route of where we're going. We are currently in, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this, Olau, I think it's how it's pronounced, in the very south of Portugal. For those of you who are Fear of Dracula players, what would be the nearest place that you would know? Cadiz, probably, but Cadiz's not on this map, strangely. You got Granada. Yeah, Cadiz is in here. Cadiz will be around here. So yeah, we are going to go where the red line is. We're going to go across Sevilla, go near Granada, up towards Barcelona. The map for me has been a bit laggy around this portion of the map, but the fact we're not going into Barcelona itself, hopefully it might be okay. We'll have to see. And we'll go across then the southern French coast, into Italy, around Milan, Venice, and we're taking the chocolate to Maribor. I don't know if Portuguese chocolate is very special, or if Slovenia doesn't have its own chocolate, I don't know, but that's the cargo I chose. I could have taken a yacht, but I was like, oh, I don't really want to take a yacht all the way across. So yeah, we're going to do this very long drive. It's raining at the moment, but hopefully it'll stop raining in due course. I can show off, hopefully, the beauty of this game. If there's a little bit of lag at times, I do apologise. I did a little quick test just now, it all seems to be fine, so keep your fingers crossed. Right, let's get underway. While we're in the city, the GPS is going to be a little bit talkative, but then once we get onto the motorway, Doug, that's his name, Doug will shut up and I'll be able to just chat to you. And I'll explain what all this is all about. This is very unusual. Not my normal content. Let's hit the road.
At the roundabout, take the first exit. Almost
3,000 kilometers. Oh shit, I should not have gone in front of that bus. Sorry, bus. My brain just went, oh yeah, of course the bus is going to take the exit. No, of course it's not. So yeah, 3,000 kilometers, and it'll take 38 hours of in-game time. But we're going to have to obviously stop for rest, so it will take longer than that. But that's fine, the rests are, you know, they just 8 hours or 8 or 10 hours zoom by really quickly. What do you mean headlight usage defense? I've got...
Take the first exit.
My headlight usage is automatic. Alright, I'll turn it on more then. Okay, clearly they've just implemented, with the latest update of this game, they've implemented a new feature where your headlight usage is automatic, and I've turned that on. But seemingly, seemingly there's just some bugs, but that's okay. I think I can absorb that €160 fine. Right. So yeah, apologies for the rain, but I'm sure it'll clear up. I've got the rain probability not very high, so it's not often that this happens. So leaving Walo now. Sorry if you're Portuguese, and I've ruined the pronunciation of that town. I'm really sorry, I don't speak Portuguese. On our way.
At the roundabout, take the third exit.
Can I turn off? Yes, I can. We won't be in Portugal very long, we're very close to the border. So yeah, we'll be in Spain in no time.
Exit now.
Yep, we'll do.
Keep right.
España. That's the one. Off we go. So yeah, you're probably wondering, what's all this about? Where's Fear of Dracula? Where are the board games? I just wanted to bring you something a little bit different. This is a game that I used to play quite a lot. We'll probably get into that later, but I haven't played it for a while, so an excuse to play is always good. But basically, this video is going to sort of double up. It has like a double purpose. Come on, cart, let me in. Thank you. Which is, I'm releasing this sort of around Christmas time. And I know that sometimes Christmas can be a little bit of a difficult time for people, even though it's a time that should be full of lots of fun and love and time with friends and family. It can be a bit of a lonely time sometimes, or if you're stuck with family members that you don't like, it can be a little bit of a depressing time. So I just wanted to bring out a little video that if you need any, as the title suggests, if you need a little bit of company, then I'm here and I'll just chat shite to you for the next couple of hours or so. And I'll hopefully keep you company. Oh, it's a very pretty bridge ahead. Lovely. So yeah, obviously with the way this video is going to work, I'm just going to be driving around. I'm doing a really long trip here. Next episode we might do some smaller trips. We'll see. We'll go wherever we want to go. And but you don't have to watch this necessarily. If this is as well, oh, need to go down the speed. This is a very beautiful suspension bridge that we're crossing. Lovely. I don't know what the river is. I did cross this on my way into this city. I didn't investigate what river this is. If anybody knows, you can let me know. Oh, why is this car slow? Yeah, beautiful. Lovely start to the journey. Shame it's raining, but never mind. It'll clear up soon. Yeah, so you don't have to watch this video necessarily. Obviously there's going to be lots of beautiful scenery, hopefully, and no lag as we're going through the journey. But if you would prefer just to have this on in the background while you're doing, I don't know, some work, or you're doing chores, or, I don't know, oh, we're in Spain now. See, I told you we weren't going to be in Portugal for long. Or if you just want this in the background while you're trying to sleep, if you're struggling to sleep at times, I know I do, I need podcasts and things to keep me company. Or if you're just having, it doesn't have to be over at Christmas time, this video will always be here, so if you're just having a bit of a rough day, you just want a little voice in the background to keep you company, then that's what this is for. Okay? If anything happens during the journey that I want to highlight to you, I will describe it for you, so just in case you're not watching, you'll still feel involved. If you're just listening, you'll still feel involved. So yeah, we're just going to be talking about the journey as we go along, and we can just chat about different things that have been happening on the channel. I also put out a request to my subscribers and to the members of the Fear of Dracula community if there's anything they wanted me to talk about along the way, then I will do so. This lorry that's in the outside lane is kind of stressing me out. I want to go at 90 and take advantage, but I want that truck to pull in front of me. Means I'm going to probably have to overtake it again at some point. Oh, I'll just put my foot down. Yeah. I know for me personally, sometimes I find it a little bit difficult to sleep, but also just, sometimes having bad days mentally speaking, so sometimes, yeah, just having that voice and just having, a little bit of company. Even if you're not fully paying attention, it's just there, just to kind of fill the void a little bit. as I undertake the lorry, then that'll be fine. This game I find is incredibly relaxing. I don't play it seriously. I don't have a steering wheel or anything like that. I'm just playing on an Xbox controller. Transmission automatic, headlights now automatic. Well, they should be, but they've obviously not been implemented 100% correctly. But that's okay. We'll forgive SCS for that. And it's just to chill out. That is all. I don't know why Doug didn't tell me to go left there, but never mind. That's fine. We're on the motorway off to Sevilla. We'll bypass Sevilla though. We're not going to see many cities on the way. So yeah. Actually, I used to play this game a lot before I got into Fear of Dracula. I used to play this game a lot, like every single day. I used to combine it with listening to music. That was kind of a topic of conversation that came up. One of my subscribers was asking me about sort of hobbies and media and all that sort of thing. Music is one of my big passions. Actually, there was a point before I started this YouTube channel. I was thinking of creating a different YouTube channel, but for music album reviews. I'm a metalhead. I like rock music, like metal music. I mean, I like anything with guitar, to be honest. Maybe not punk quite so much, but if it's got guitar in it, I'll be happy. I even listen to a bit of blues and jazz. It just depends what sort of mood I'm in. And
keep left.
Okay, thanks, Doug. But there's a car I need to let pass first. I don't have any accidents. Let's see if I can do this whole trip without crashing into anything. That'd be grand. So yeah, bit of a metalhead, and there was one year in particular. I think that was 2020 and 2021, where I really started sort of deep diving into sort of like Spotify and finding, you know, metal bands which are fairly unknown. Oh, there's a little bit of lag. Apologies, people. Yeah, I go deep diving into Spotify and trying to find metal bands which had, I don't know, like under 10,000 monthly listeners, and would listen to their albums a lot and then give them a score. I had a spreadsheet where I was like putting scores up, and I was then meant to review them.
Keep right.
Oh,
and then exit right.
I'm getting a little bit laggy. Okay, that's gone. That's fine. I haven't got any mods installed apart from one, which increases the traffic density. So at times, maybe if we're getting to a point in the map where there's quite a lot of spawning, then maybe that might be causing lag. That's fine. We navigated it all fine. Yeah, sorry, you realise I'm going to lose my train of thought and go back on myself. That's fine. I'm just going with the flow. So yeah, I really wanted to do these music reviews. I did a lot of listened to a lot of stuff during 2021, and then the moment where I had to actually really then go to write the reviews at the end of 2021, I was just exhausted. So I didn't do it. It was a bit of a shame. But I still had a lot of fun listening to all the albums, and I used to listen while playing Euro Truck. It's kind of like this weird thing where if I try to listen to music while not doing anything, just listening to music and nothing else, I find without a visual stimulus, I would actually like fall asleep or lose concentration. Where are we? That's a very nice bridge as well. Where are we? Are we on the outside of Sevilla already? I think so. Oh, the rain has stopped anyway. That's the main thing. Oops, 60. Crossing yet another suspension bridge over a river that, again, I don't know the name of. My geography skills, or lack of, really come into play here. But we're in the south. We're here in Andalusia, southern part of Spain. So I don't know where we're kind of navigating around Sevilla, I think, at this point, or maybe another city. I'm not sure. But there's a lot of industrial stuff going on around here. Oh yes. Okay. Controlling speed. So yeah, I would use Euro Truck Simulator as kind of like a visual stimulus. I would just put on Euro Truck and drive around wherever I wanted, and I'd have the music in the background. And it's kind of that weird balance where it provided enough visual stimulus that it would keep me awake and keep me actually focusing on the music, but not so much of a visual stimulus that then I would stop listening to the music, if that makes sense. It was kind of like that very fine balance, and it worked perfectly. There was actually a moment about, I don't know, about a year or so ago, maybe about 18 months ago, and I was like, why don't I listen to much music anymore? And I suddenly realised, it's because I'm not playing Euro Truck Simulator. So the two things kind of went hand in hand there. Yeah, I guess, yeah, well, we're on the topic of music. Let's talk about music, shall we? I wasn't a big music fan growing up, really, during my childhood. I mean, I always learned about the Beatles and Queen and all that sort of thing, even if I didn't listen to them very much, but I had parents of that generation, and you know, if you got a parent who's fans of certain bands, then you just hear about them. But I didn't actively like consume their music. It was just on in the background or whatever. Then it'd be on the background. But yeah, I wasn't really a big music fan, and it was kind of unusual for a teenager, to be honest. Until the age of, it was until about 16 actually. So during my early teenage years, didn't really care about music too much. I was just playing video games and watching TV and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
I had a friend who liked a little bit of rock music, so they'd show me a little bit of things. So I can't remember what was it, like Breaking Benjamin and Rise Against. Yeah, absolutely obsessed with Rise Against. But then it was at that time I was really into action films, and that was when The Expendables came out. If anybody remembers that film, it was the one with Sylvester Stallone and Jason Statham. It's like this sort of like ensemble cast of like all like the big action stars all in the same film. And yeah, for that, keep left. I'm already keeping left. Oh, getting brake checked by the AI. Nice. Just what you wanted to see. That's the only thing. I want this video to be as calm as possible. Obviously, if the AI do something funky, then they're a bit derpy, the AI sometimes. And also it doesn't help that I've got the density up higher, so there's more of them, but it makes it more realistic. There's actually cars on the road, so. Yeah, so when The Expendables came out, the music that they used for the trailer, I don't think it actually got used in the film, but the music that was used in the trailer was a film called Diamond Eyes, or Boom Lay Boom Lay Boom, depending on how you want to call it. And it was done by a band called Shinedown, and my friend who's into rock music showed me it. And that was back in the day that we used to, like, there was no Spotify back then. It was all sending music to each other via Bluetooth. Why is this car so slow? Are you gonna really make me overtake you? I'm gonna have to overtake this. This is too slow for me. Just going at 60 kilometers an hour? Like, come on, man. That's not even 40 miles an hour. Just put your foot down. It's not hard. Sunday drivers. There we go. Right. Got a bit of open road now. So yeah, he showed me it, and I liked it. And then I think he showed me another song of theirs called Call Me, which is from the Sound of Madness album. And I was just like, right, okay, I'm going to have to go and find this band now, aren't I? And I did. Yeah, and the album's called Sound of Madness. A very iconic album in Shinedown's discography. And yeah, I just kept listening to it and listening to it and listening to it. And I became a little bit obsessed. So that was my first like real sort of like obsession. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, I listen to them sometimes. It was like the first album that I would go home every single night after school. I mean, I'd go home, play Call of Duty 4 online, and for some reason, because I was playing it on PC, I didn't need the disc to play it. So at the same time, I was able to put the CD disc of Sound of Madness in. So that was my after-school routine. After doing my homework, I would just spend all evening listening to Sound of Madness and playing Call of Duty. And really, became really obsessed with that album. And then that was 2012. Well, yeah, that was during 2011, 2010, 11ish, and then 2012. I think it's the spring of 2012. I think I got that date right. I hope I got that date right. They released their new album. That was their 4th album, Amaryllis. And then just randomly went into the music shop. Didn't know it was coming out. Because I wasn't keeping up with the band in that sense. I was obsessed with the album, but I wasn't like, following their social media or anything like that. And then suddenly just went to look up Shinedown in the music store, and there's another album there. I was like, oh, cool. All right. Because Sound of Man was like the first album. If anyone doesn't know, Shinedown are from Florida, in the States. So their first 2 albums are not really big over here at all in Europe. I don't think it's possible to buy them now. I really don't know. I'm sure there will be some copies around, but I've never seen them. Sound of Manners was their first like big, like in terms of Europe. I know they got quite a lot of success early days because they did a cover of Lynyrd Skynyrd's Simple Man on the radio, and that really boosted their popularity in the States. But in Europe, they had done shows and stuff. Their first 2 albums, Leave a Whisper and Us and Them, really hard to come by. I'm sure they're about, but they're not easy to find. Whereas Sound of Madness, yeah, you can go into music shops now and you can always find Sound of Madness. And then the new album Amaryllis, well, that's the 4th one. It's not really new now because there's been 3 more since then. Oh, my phone's ringing. You can go away. Just spam calls, not important. So, yes, either 2011 or 12 that Amaryllis came out. I should have done my research, shouldn't I? But anyway, and yeah, just became absolutely even more obsessed with them because I loved Amaryllis, loved Sound of Madness. It was just perfect. And they were just my complete obsession. And then I found the 2 other albums online, bought them. And I just listened to this band just 24/7. It was just all I did listen to a little bit of some other things like Evanescence and Breaking Benjamin listened to, but Shinedown was just this ongoing obsession. Never stopped. Am I supposed to be getting to the right hand lane here? I mean, the GPS said yes, but I'm now doubting. What's this sign saying? Madrid or Badajoz? No, I don't want to go to Badajoz. I want to go towards Madrid, kind of. So yeah, I'm going to stay this way. Oh, right, okay, keep left. Nice, okay. Sweet. Geography coming in clutch. Oh, lag, that's fine. Oh, good, that's been quite a smooth drive so far. I was having some test runs of this, and sometimes it was incredibly laggy. I don't really know why. I think it's stuff on my computer slowing it down rather than the game in OBS. Never mind. So, yeah, I was just completely obsessed with this band. And then I saw them live in Edinburgh, in Scotland, in 2012, and it was just amazing. That was my first ever proper rock show, and I was just obsessed. I was just so happy about it. And then they were due to come back the following year with a band called Alter Bridge. Well, actually with 2 bands, with Alter Bridge and with Hailstorm. And I knew Hailstorm because they'd done collaborations with the singer Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm before, but Alter Bridge, didn't know. And my best friend at the time, who still is my best friend, said to me, "Oh yeah, Alter Bridge are good." So I started investigating them, and that's become that was my second obsession. Oh, it's very misty around here. What is all this about? I might have to put the full beams on. I don't know if I've got fog lights. They've actually updated in this game the weather effects. This is incredibly creepy, this fog. But I like it. This is very cool. Yeah, apologies. You're not going to get... If you are watching this, you're not going to have much of a view. It has become very foggy in the last, 30 seconds. Just as I like. Nice. Yeah. Oh, this is very eerie. Oh, we've had everything so far. We've had bright sunshine, we had rain at the beginning, now we've got the fog. Wow, really showcasing the weather. All these weather effects have been updated recently. This is very cool. Anyway, so yeah, Alter Bridge, that was then... Started listening to them, and just... compared to Shinedown, I did like them, don't get me wrong, I liked them from the very beginning, but they've grown on me over the last few years, and now I'll say, and it's been that way for the last 3-4 years, I'll now say that Alter Bridge is my favourite band, not Shinedown anymore. They're a little bit different. Shinedown's is sort of like, well, especially in the beginning, was sort of like this very sort of, I don't know, the genre they keep calling it is post-grunge, sort of like this sort of mid-2000s hard rock. Some very aggressive stuff, and then mixed in with sort of more ballady type things. Ultra is a little bit different. It does have like some of those tendencies, but they also incorporate quite a lot of metal elements as well. They've got 2 guitarists in the band rather than just one. So because of that, these 2 guitarists have very different styles, and they do mix with each other very, very well. And one of the guitarists, Mark Tremonti, he grew up on Metallica and all this sort of thing, and he actually like played, like he learned how to play. It wasn't just he listened to Metallica, like he learned how to like play Metallica and Celtic Frost and all these sort of things. So he brings in a lot of like heavy metal elements, and then the other guitarist, who's also the singer, Miles Kennedy, he brings in, yeah, he loves metal too, but he brings in sort of like this jazz, blues rock kind of influence, and the 2 mix together very, very well. So it's quite a bit of a mixture, and then also more recently, in kind of the last 3 albums, or 4 albums, they do slightly longer songs, where it starts becoming a little bit more progressive. And they've been fantastic. So Alter Bridge is my favourite band. Even though, you know, in general, I don't listen to a lot of rock these days, because I find it a little bit too soft. I like the heaviness. Alter Bridge is always going to be my favourite band. It's just the blend, and just the music, and just the dynamics between, especially the 2 guitarists, and it's just fantastic stuff. So yeah, I really recommend you go and check out Alter Bridge if you kind of like the sort of thing. It's not very, very heavy, don't worry, it's not screamy or anything like that. You can actually hear the lyrics. So yeah, don't be put off by that. And now we're back in the sunshine. How far do I have to go before I have to stop? 5 hours. Okay, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that. And I can fill up with petrol at the same time. So I don't have to stop right now, we can keep going. I don't know how far I'll be able to get though. 5 hours from here. Probably getting towards Barcelona at that point. I'll have to see. When we stop, I'll show you where we are. I can't bring up the map and drive at the same time. In multiplayer mode you can, but in single player mode, if I click the map, it'll take me out of the game, so to speak, and it'll take me to the main menu. So yeah, hearing Shinedown, I always say that hearing Shinedown was like my first like musical epiphany. I was like, oh, right, okay. My other sort of musical epiphanies, the first one was listening to Slash, who's the guitarist from Guns N' Roses. But I got introduced to him by my best friend, the one who recommended Alter Bridge to me, because Slash had he still has, he has a band outside of Guns N' Roses, where Miles Kennedy, who is the singer of Alter Bridge, is also the singer in that band. And the reason why I call that my second musical epiphany was because obviously compared to Shinedown, where there are not many like guitar solos and things, Slash, you can kind of imagine if you've listened to Guns N' Roses or if you've seen any of his solo stuff, he'll go off on these long kind of like meandering solos and really show off what he can do with the guitar. And I'd never seen that before. That's kind of the thing where I know it's all very. He's like, how do you mean you've never seen that? But I never paid attention to it before. When I was listening to Shinedown, it was just the overall rhythm and the power of the singer's voice. Brent Smith has an amazing voice, fantastic, probably the best voice I've ever heard. Very powerful, very, very good. When I listened to Slash, and this was before I listened to Alter Bridge sort of properly, I hadn't seen like a more kind of guitar, in terms of like a lead guitar orientated band, if you want to think about it that way, with lots of solos and all that cool stuff. And I remember there was this once at uni, I was, classic uni student, didn't want to work, so I found a live concert on YouTube. I think they were playing, Slash and his band were playing in Australia. I just popped that on, and I was just mesmerized, like, oh my god, that's what you can do with a guitar? That's incredible. So that was like my next epiphany, like, oh right, and that's when I became kind of like obsessed with the guitar. I can't tell you anything about guitar theory, even though I do watch some videos on YouTube of people explaining how to play the guitar. I've never played it, don't know how to do it, but I just love the sound of it. And it's just, yeah, it's just... I was going to say it's music to my ears, but that's kind of stupid because it is music, but it's just, it fills me with so much joy. And then because of that, discovering, you know, that sort of guitar aspect side, I was then able to go back and listen to Alter Bridge and appreciate Alter Bridge for that side. It wasn't just this rhythmic, melodic type of band, which it is, but it has all this sort of like guitar soloing and really cool sort of dynamics.
Then exit right.
Okay, we are going off towards Valencia now, so we're heading up. So instead of going around Madrid, which is in the center of Spain, and it's kind of the spoke. If you imagine Spain being a wheel, then spokes are the things that go around the outside. This Madrid is like the bit in the center, and all the roads are like spokes that go off in different directions. Same with the train lines as well. You have to go through Madrid to kind of get anywhere you want. But we're not going around Madrid. We're going up along towards like the eastern coast towards Valencia, and then up towards Barcelona. Oh, sorry, Barcelona. I say Valencia with the Spanish pronunciation, then I say Barcelona in the English way. Not consistent. Okay, I'm going to wait here for somebody to let me out. Oh, this guy's let me out. Thank you very much. Give him a toot. So then I was able to go back and listen to Alter Bridge and reappreciate it from like a guitar perspective, and really then that was like when my brain suddenly realized, like, I kind of recognized the sound of the guitar rather than just being all like this blurred into one sound kind of thing. And the great thing with Alter Bridge is because they got all these so many different influences, I've learned a lot of other bands from them. You know, if you just go onto interviews with Miles Kennedy or Mark Tremonti, they get asked, oh, what influences do you have? And they just, so many of the bands that I, you know, have listened to, a lot of them stem from these guys. Like, you know, why did I start listening to Metallica? Oh, because Mark Tremonti said he listened to Metallica. So, alright, let's check out Metallica. And then Megadeth. You know, I don't listen much to Metallica these days, but, you know, if it's put on, I'll listen to it. I do like it. I'm not like a massive Metallica fan in that sense. You know, and I did listen to a little bit of Celtic Frost. You know, Miles Kennedy would talk about Van Halen, and Van Halen was a band that I knew from my childhood. I went back to listen to it again, and I liked it from a guitar perspective. And, you know, AC/DC, and Miles Kennedy would also talk about bands like, it still exists, from Canada, called Big Wreck, which is a very sort of like blues rock type vibe. Love listening to them. In an interview with Slash, he talked about a Norwegian band called Cavell Attack, who are really, really cool, kind of like this weird, I don't even know how to describe them. They're called black, I don't know, I can't remember what the terminology is for it. It's very weird. All in Norwegian, no idea what the lyrics are. It could be about anything, but the music's like kind of like this sort of like punky, even though I said not like punk, it's like this, it's like this mixture between like blues rock and like thrash metal. It's kind of like this really weird combination, and it's really cool. And who else? I discovered Jeff Buckley thanks to Miles Kennedy. Jeff Buckley was an American singer-songwriter who I think died, was it in the 90s? Was it 94 that he died, I think? He released an album called, I'm going to get this wrong now, the album was called Grace, if I remember correctly. He became very famous, well, at least over here, for his version of Hallelujah. But that entire album is incredible. It is so good. And unfortunately, yeah, he released that album, critical acclaim, and then I think only just a few months later he died in very sort of like unusual circumstances. And the world was robbed of yet another young, very promising musician. Yeah, Jeff Buckley. Who else? Old Government Mule. Learned them because of Miles Kennedy, because he did a collaboration with them. That's sort of more sort of like blues rock type vibe. I do like that sort of thing. Oh, Corbin's a little bit more of the blues aspect. I'm not listening to a lot of hard rock these days. It just depends. It kind of depends on my mood. I would always prefer metal though. I try to then go heavier. Once I got into kind of like Metallica and Megadeth, I just wanted to kind of just keep going heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. It's one of the main heavy bands that's had quite a lot of influence on me is Gojira, who are a French band. I first listened to them, and I was like, ugh. And just kind of then, you know, ignored it. But then, and then never listened to them. But then, Alderbridge came to Glasgow, and they had Gojira with them as support. I was like, oh well, I'm gonna have to listen to Gojira now because I want to go and see Alderbridge live. That was the first time I went to see Alderbridge live. I was like, right, I'm definitely going to this show because I missed them the last time they came to Glasgow. Right, I'm gonna definitely go and see this show. Right, I'm gonna have to learn how to like Gojira. And I bought this album called L'Enfant Sauvage. Incredible, amazing stuff. Again, just, you know, going out. I don't know what I forget a lot of the terminology, but it's just, that's where you start getting towards the screaming sort of lyrics and things. It is a little bit hard at times to understand what they're saying, but the music and just the sort of the tightness of that band, just the connection between all the music is just phenomenal. It's also very funny when you see them live. You've never seen a bass player have so much fun playing live. He's awesome. All the lyrics are in English though, so it is accessible in that sense if you're not a French speaker. Lyrics are kind of about environmentalism and this sort of thing. Very sort of, yeah, very activist, kind of like environmental advocates type of thing. But very, you know, just very, very meaningful lyrics, and the music's very impressive too. Very good stuff. I've seen them live a couple of times, and they're just phenomenal. And they just kept pushing. Once you start liking Gojira, like, right, let's find something that's even heavier than that. And you just keep going. I think I know my limits now. I've kind of just over time, I've kind of discovered, you know, how heavy I can go. Once it gets too heavy, and that sort of like concept of melody goes out the window, then I don't like it. It needs to still have melody. It can be as heavy as it wants, but it needs to have that flow and rhythm. If it's just being heavy for the sake of being heavy, then there's no point. At least for me, anyway. That's just me. Another band I really like that I'll plug is a band called Ginger, who are from Ukraine, like the spice, but spelt with a J rather than a G at the front. And that one is probably very famous because they've become quite a almost clickbaity band for like these YouTube reactors, because the singer is a woman, and when you hear their songs, you've got like this very soft, very sweet, like a female singing voice, and then it goes into like ferocious roaring, and you think, oh well, yeah, of course they got two singers, right? You've got the female doing one side, because that's sometimes there are bands that have that. They've got those two singers and they have that sort of that dynamic between them. But no, when you watch Ginger playing live, it's the same person doing both, and it always freaks out the reactors, which is very funny. But the way that she can switch between the two vocal techniques is just out of this world. It's very impressive. And the music's also just very cool as well. Very, almost like, if you can imagine, it's almost like jazz in a way. It's very weird. I've seen people describing it as such. Like if you can imagine like heavy jazz, that's kind of what they are. Even though it's not, there is a lot of metal in there, but some of the rhythms, and they also incorporate. They've got a song called Judgment and Punishment that has reggae influence. It's all very mixed. It's very, very cool. There's all these different musical styles, but wrapped up in a metal package. It's very, very, very interesting. I'm listening to quite a lot of Trivium these days as well. Anyway, I'm just naming bands at this point. So yeah, I would go down the rabbit hole and listen to all these bands, and yeah, and I was just, then there's some also ones which are not so well known. Again, it's called like about just listening to their albums, and my Spotify algorithm was working really well because they would recommend lots of obscure bands to me, and I listened to them, and most of the time they'd be on the mark, especially if they're from Scandinavia. I feel like at the moment Scandinavia is really doing well in terms of metal. If I see that there's a band and it says they're from Finland or Norway or Sweden, or probably Denmark, but especially those first three, I'll be like, yeah, I'll probably like them. Just that style of metal is just very, very cool. At the moment, I don't think the UK is doing very well in terms of metal, or even rock in general. I mean, there are some good bands. Obviously, I've heard today the latest song from Architects. I'm not really a big metalcore fan. It's okay. I'll listen to it a little bit. But yeah, at the moment, yeah, the UK is not too hot for music. I'd definitely say, you know, Scandinavia is doing it better, and just America as well, just because obviously America's a much bigger country. The States has got some good metal bands in there too. I'm preferring metal rather than rock these days, just because I find metal to be more diverse. I find rock is just a little bit too simple at the moment. That's going to make me sound like such a snob. I'm really sorry. Oh my god. Sorry, there's a massive like refinery or something on the left. I don't know where exactly we are, or what exactly that is, but it definitely looks like some sort of like, yeah, it definitely looks like a nuclear power plant, doesn't it? Well, maybe not. Or yeah, it could be an oil refinery. I'm not sure. I'm not far away from the coast, I don't think. So my geography is correct. My character has been yawning, so I'm gonna have to find a rest stop within the next sort of half an hour of in-game time. So yeah, the next option to have, I will take it. Where are we? Oh! Oh my, I almost went smack into that lorry. That would have been bad. Oh, and a car. Oh well. Oh, I didn't hit a cop car, did I? Oh, I didn't know. Oh well, there goes my aim. They just didn't let me in. It was just, I couldn't... Oh, crap. No, I'm not supposed to be turning off here. This is very confusing. Don't want to go off on the wrong way. Oh, I just couldn't... They just didn't let me in. I did brake as well,
right,
but not enough.
And then exit right.
Seemingly. Okay. Ah, so yeah, they've got...
Right.
We're splitting off here, going towards Tarragona and Barcelona rather than Valencia. So yeah, it looks like we're on the outskirts of Valencia then, if that's the case. So yeah, I've not been listening to as much music these days because I haven't been on Euro Truck Simulator very much. But I've been very busy with Fear of Dracula stuff, obviously. Right, am I going to be let in? Oh, that was incredibly... That's very poor timing. So, in case you weren't watching, when my character gets tired, the screen goes like... It fades in and out. Sort of just to kind of be a visual reminder of, you're getting tired, you need to pull over. And it did it just as I was trying to pull out, and I couldn't see in the wing mirror if there was a car there or not. And because the lights are not... Because it's not quite night yet, I couldn't see the headlights that well, and as I was paying attention to the mirror, and at that moment my screen went black. So yeah. Oh well, that's 2 crashes within the last minute. Fantastic. We're making good progress though. We're about a third of the way through. Yeah, I know I'm tired. I know. I need to find a lay-by. So yeah, if it's got guitar and it's heavy, I'll probably like it. That being said though, my other sort of epiphany was when my father-in-law showed me Stevie Ray Vaughan. That was again another pivotal moment, because again, even though I'd seen, you know, lead guitar oriented music with Slash and all this sort of thing, Stevie Ray Vaughan is just on another level. He's phenomenal. He may again another one who died too young. It was really sad too, because he got clean out of his, you know, he was addicted to I don't want to say which drugs he was addicted to next, I can't remember, but I know he had, alcohol and drug addictions, and he got clean. He was sober, and then he only went and died in a helicopter crash. So yeah, another one that was taken from us too soon. Yeah, I love his music. And just watching him live too. I mean, his albums are great, but just put on a live video of him playing, and that's like one of like the few players that is not he's just a good musician. It seems so natural to him, and that the guitar was like a part of his body in that sense. That he was so kind of, it was just in sync, and it was perfect. The way my father-in-law have had discussions, we've had arguments, 'cause I think we both kind of agree with each other on this, but, if you take somebody like Eric Clapton and Stevie Ray Vaughan, I'd pick Stevie Ray Vaughan every day of the week. Eric Clapton is an amazing guitarist. He plays note perfect every time. But I don't feel anything when Eric Clapton plays, and that's really sad. I know there are people out there who feel a lot when Eric Clapton plays, and that's fine. But just for me, I feel nothing when he plays. Whereas Stevie Ray Vaughan, I feel the emotion. It's a completely different feeling. It's very personal. And even though Stevie Ray Vaughan will make note mistakes, he will always be able to find a way of like getting back onto his feet again. If he misplays a note, doesn't matter. He'll find a way of making it work, and he'll get back to it. He'll go off on a tangent of all tangents, but you'll find a way of coming back to the rhythm again. And it's just flawless. It's amazing. Why do I... It's not quite dark enough yet. I'm trying to put on my full beams, but they don't seem to be making a difference. Yeah, I know I'm tired. I know. There's just nowhere to stop around here. I should have maybe detoured to find somewhere to stop. That sort of junction, or that interchange where I had those couple of crashes, I did see a rest stop. I was like, oh, it's right on the other side. I'm not going to go there. I'll go somewhere else. But now I'm stuck on this motorway, and I don't know where the next rest stop is. So I might end up getting a penalty now for not sleeping. Or in the dead, not quite in the dead of night, but yeah, sun's gone down. There's just a little bit of light on the horizon. That's it. Now there you go. There's a sleeping offence. I just saw there. One of my other drivers lost 1,500 euros. How did they do that? Somebody's getting sacked in the morning. I've got lots of AI drivers who are just running around and making me more money. That's the problem with these sort of like simulator type games, that once you get to a certain point, at the beginning it's difficult because you haven't got a truck, you have to earn lots of money. Now they've added used trucks into the game, which are going to be much cheaper to buy. But trying to get that first truck can be very difficult, especially if you don't take out a loan and you got very little money. But then once you get to a certain point, you just rake in so much money, like any sort of simulator type game. You'll never run out of money. It's impossible. Right, here we are. Finally, a rest stop. About time too.
Never mind. I'll find a new route.
Oh, another sleeping event? Really, I'm right at the stop, mate. I'll quickly go and get some fuel. I'll take advantage, because I don't know when the next time will be. I'm almost out of petrol, or diesel, or whatever this thing uses. Quickly do a rest, and then we'll be on our way again. I'll show you on the map, though, where we are. So yeah, I don't know if I'll get back into sort of music reviews and things. I definitely still want to listen to more music. Oops. I think it will help as well. I'm going to be moving soon, so I'll be able to actually sort of, because I'm moving, I'll be able to sort of organize my music collection that I've got here a little bit, and oops, I'll be able to. Oh, why are you happy? Let me forward a tiny bit more. There you go. I'll be able to oh yeah, if you're watching, be careful. The screen's gonna get very bright. Oh no, because it's foggy. Nice. Yeah, I'll be able to organize all my music again, and hopefully be able to listen to more. So where are we? Oh yeah, we are. So we went round. I don't know where all that stuff was. So it's oh yeah, it's that intersection near Valencia. Then that was causing problems. Okay, so we've gone past Villarreal. We're very close to Tarragona, and then we're going to bypass Barcelona, up into France, with all the toll booths, which is going to slow us down, which is very irritating, and then into Italy, where there are lots of more toll booths, which is not what we want. Sorry, taking a slope of tea. So yeah, we've done quite a lot of the journey, but we're going to get slowed down by these toll booths, which is not what we like to see, but never mind. So, let's get on the road again. And we've got a foggy morning here on the Spanish, in eastern Spain. I was going to say on the east coast. We're not quite on the coast. We're not far away. So yeah, eastern Spain, but I see some sun on the horizon, so that's what we want to see. Hopefully this fog won't be around for long. Oh, you can let me out? Yep, you are. Excellent. What a legend. So yeah, what time is it? It's 8 AM. So that's perfect. So by the time we drive for 11 hours, then that'll be towards 9 PM, so then I'm not driving too much in the dark. I don't know if you want to see nighttime driving. I mean, if you are watching this, then obviously you want to see, you know, the landscape change and things, so I think it's just better driving during the day. But if we get a little bit of overlap with driving at night, then that's fine. Hey, we're inside Catalonia now. So that was very quick. We went through Andalusia, we went through, I don't know if we went into part of Murcia, I'm not sure, I didn't see the signs. And we went through Castilla-La Mancha. Valencia, and now we're in Catalonia. So this is the last Spanish autonomous community that we'll go through before we get to France. So, is that an Albe, like train line off to the left? It looks like it. Yeah, Spain has a very impressive high-speed train network. I don't know if there is one that goes all the way along the east coast. I'm not sure. You'd probably think so. A lot of it goes through Madrid. You go into Madrid and then you get out. You can get from Barcelona to Madrid in like 3 hours, more or less, which is very impressive. I'm stuck behind a caravan. Oh, what is that thing? There's a thing on the right here. It looks like an observatory. It's a dome-shaped building. I'm gonna go out to the exterior view to see that. I don't know what that is. I have to research it. A lot of these, like, the things that you see on the side of the road are based on real life things. They sent people from the company to Spain to do research, and obviously with Google Maps and all this sort of thing, there's so many resources now. I just saw one, they've also got American Truck Simulator, and I saw that a group from SCS, the company who make this game, they went out and were going around lots of different states, gathering research, which is very nice to see. They do a very good job with this game. The map is vast, and there's lots of DLCs. The base game only, with the European game, it only had the UK, a bit of France, I think all of Germany I think was in it, and Denmark, Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, and I think that was it. I think maybe Austria and Switzerland might have been included too. And then just slowly over time they just bring out DLCs to expand it, so they brought out eastern countries like Poland and Hungary first, and then what else they do? They did Scandinavia, but it doesn't go all the way up to the north of Norway and Sweden. They did the rest of France, they did Italy, they did the Baltic countries, the real Baltic countries, not like Friojakla that used the word Baltica incorrectly. So like some Latvia and Estonia, and then they did Iberia, and now the most recent ones they've done, they've actually prepared a Russian DLC, but you know, because of the war and that sort of thing, they decided to postpone it. But that DLC is still kind of like hanging around, so whenever, you know, the situation becomes more favourable and whatever, then they can release it, which is great. So the work's not going to be wasted. Well, we hope not, anyway. And they've just released the West Balkans that got released in the last sort of like few weeks. So you've got Serbia and Croatia, Kosovo and Macedonia in the game, which is great. Oops. There is also a mod called Pro Mods, which expands the map a lot more. And then the existing map that's in the game, then there's just a lot more detail, and there's more towns, and they've rebuilt certain cities and whatever. I did use Pro Mods sometimes, but I found it is a little bit laggy at times. My laptop isn't the most powerful, so it can't handle it very well. And the other thing too is because then every time that SCS updates the game, it breaks the mod. So you have to then wait for the Pro Mod team to. I mean, they do an amazing job, but you have to wait for them to fix it and then download it. When they bring out new map expansions, because all the connections will break, so they have to rework all the roads and all this sort of thing. So just for at the moment, because I'm not playing the game that often, I haven't got Pro Mods downloaded. If I play a lot more, then I will get Pro Mods again. But at the moment, I'm happy with what I've got. And SCS are now going back, as well as working on DLCs to expand the map. They are now starting to go back and rework some of the old parts to sort of make them look a little bit more up to date and sort of like to the same standard as, I haven't investigated the West Balkans DLC yet. Maybe on the next episode we'll head down there. But the Iberia DLC is lovely. And you really see the difference in quality. So they're starting to rework, Germany and the Netherlands to bring it up to scratch. They really need to rework the UK. The UK in this game is horrible. So you won't see me driving there. Which is a real shame. The Pro Mods version of the UK, chef's kiss. It's so good. It's amazing. The amount of detail, and it looks very real. The UK map actually came from an even older game, and they just took it. They created like a UK. They had a German truck simulator, and they had a British truck simulator, and they just sort of squashed the games together to make Euro Truck Simulator 2, and they added some other things, obviously. So yeah, it looks very old now, and not very fun to drive, which is a real shame, because I'd love to be able to drive around, England and Scotland, and hopefully they add Ireland at some point. But at the moment I can't. So there might be a point in the game where the map fully resembles the same map that's in Fury of Dracula, so then I can drive around all of the cities that are in the game of Fury of Dracula. But at the moment I can't. I can't stay in this lane, I don't think. Oh well, maybe I can. If there's an arrow, if I can stay going straight. Oh yeah, I can. It's a slip road. Perfect. We don't want to go to Zaragoza. We want to go to France and Barcelona. So off we go. So yeah, we'll be crossing into France fairly soon. Fairly soon. So yeah, you won't see me going to the UK. I'll stay in continental Europe, as we call it. So yeah. So I guess, after all that music discussion, I guess the question, because I was very tempted to make a YouTube channel. Oh, I'm going to pull out to let this car in. I was quite close to make a YouTube channel where I do music reviews and commit to it. So the question is then, how did I end up with a YouTube channel for video games and Fear of Dracula? Well, it wasn't my plan. It was something that sort of happened organically. I think after 2021, because I got so tired listening to all the music that I then didn't write the reviews and whatever. I was kind of like, well, am I going to do this YouTube? I'm not sure. Do I not? So I kind of like, I was humming and hawing over it. Okay, is there one that I can go to that's automatic? Yep, this one up ahead, so I don't have to stop, because that's a very long queue. If I can avoid that queue, so much the better. Oh, no, I can't, because they've all got height restrictions. Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to have to join this queue and do it a little bit illegally. Oh, what about this one? Oh, this one's automatic, and there's no height restriction. Will it let me through? Yay! Perfect. Don't have to stop. Telepache for the win. Yes, I was sort of humming and hawing about it, and at this point I wasn't playing Fear of Dracula. I actually, so my relationship with Fear of Dracula came from, I'm sure a lot of you will know the YouTube series Tabletop with Will Wheaton. That was on the Geek and Sundry channel. I started watching that, I don't know when. I don't know what my first video was and exactly how, but I think a lot of it would have been, I started playing board games with my friends, and then just maybe there was a board game that we were interested in, but we didn't know how to play it. That's a beautiful little river that we're crossing. Not as wide as the ones we saw back, in the south of Spain, but lovely. And you can see like this part of Spain is a little bit greener compared to what we were going through before. Around the south it's very kind of like desert-like, and a lot sort of more brown and yellow in colour. It's much greener. Hey, Porta de Barcelona. Barcelona Port. Oh, and then it gets laggy. Yeah, there's definitely something around Barcelona that I maybe have to reinstall my game. It's a little bit laggy around here, unfortunately. It was a real shame, because Barcelona, they've done Barcelona very well. Yeah, there's a lot of industry here outside of Barcelona. Very industrial. And obviously Barcelona is just this expanse where you've got lots of other like towns and communities all around it. Keep right, alright, I will keep right, sir. I want to make sure I go the right way. So yeah, we are bypassing, we're going to Toulouse. It's a very famous city for Fear of Dracula players, Toulouse. So yeah, I discovered Tabletop, the YouTube channel, or the YouTube series. I don't know, probably, like I said, investigating a board game that we didn't know how to play properly. And I loved it. I thought it was a fantastic series. I think the thing for me was because, like, obviously there were celebrity guests on the show, but for me as a British person, I didn't know most of them because a lot of them were, from American TV shows and sort of American-based web series that I didn't watch. So I didn't watch it for the celebrities. There were a couple that I knew. Obviously, back in those days, talking about, sort of 6, 7, 8 years ago, the Fine Bros were, at that time, I think they still are well on the internet, but, they hadn't tarnished their reputation so much, and, who else? Grant Imahara, because I did watch a few Mythbusters episodes, so knew him. Karen Gillan, who's a Scot as well, who was on Doctor Who. She was on it, and Rhett and Link. But apart from that, I didn't know any of the people on it. I didn't watch it for them. I maybe rewatched it for them if they had funny personalities or whatever. But I didn't watch it for them. I watched it for the board games. And yeah, of course, we can have a little bit of a laugh at Tabletop. They got the rules wrong, blah 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 blah. But I think it's a really cool thing, and if ultimately all you want from board games, if you can introduce more people to the hobby, then that's a fantastic thing, regardless of how it's done, right? And yeah, when you watch the Fear of Dracula video, like, oh, there's some rule mistakes or whatever, but honestly, like, the way they were doing their production, they were having to play like 3 or 4 board games a day, and they were doing it from the perspective of like making almost like a TV series, right? So that's going to happen. You're going to get rules mistakes and whatever. That's just entirely natural. So yeah, no shit from me for that. But it's just the fact that, and I learned so many board games because of that series. And I thought, Dead of Winter, I learned from that, and I thought it was great. Takenoko, Fear of Dracula, obviously. Tokaido, I want to try and play Concept at some point. There's so many board games that I learned from that I've either played and I've enjoyed, or I've bought them for myself, or they're still on my list of games of maybe getting in the future. It's a real shame it's not on anymore. I really wish they brought it back. I thought it was a really cool thing. Yeah, sure, the interviews and things, that's kind of, I don't know if that's more of an American thing, I'm not sure what all that's about, all the little interviews during the game. I'd rather just watch them playing and having banter at the table. But that's fine. If that's the style they wanted to do it, that's perfectly fine. But no, very enjoyable little series. And yeah, I saw them play Fear of Dracula, and I'd never seen anything like it. It was just like, you know, I was used to these sort of like Euro-style games like Ticket to Ride and whatever. But I'd never seen a game like that where you had... I never played Scotland Yard or anything like that. So you had hidden movement and the asymmetric kind of, you know, element where, you know, one player knows all the information, the other four don't know so much, but then they're holding on to events that the other player doesn't know and all this sort of thing. Excuse me. I thought it was amazing. I'm going to get into the automatic telepeaje lane again, because I'm not getting to that queue, because ain't got time for that. Hey, let's go. So, yeah, I just thought it was fantastic. And again, I didn't know, I wasn't really a big vampire movie fan, so it wasn't like I was a big, like, oh, this is Dracula, oh my god, this is amazing. It's like, eh, cool. It's about a book. It's based on the book, and yeah, it's a very iconic character, but it wasn't like, you know, it's not like I was obsessed with vampire films or anything. Yeah, I watched it, and I thought it was really cool. And obviously at that time, because I watched it maybe, I don't know, the episode, probably didn't see the episode brand new. It might have been out maybe a year or two, I'm not too sure exactly. I'll have to look back at the dates and try and work it out. But at that time, that was the third edition of the game, and it was out of print, because like many games on tabletop, the minute it was on tabletop, it sold out. And also at that point then, I think it was Fancy Flight Games who were responsible for it, and they pulled the plug on it and they stopped producing it. So yeah, I was like, oh, when's the 4th edition coming out? And at that point they didn't know. But fortunately in Edinburgh, where I was living at the time, there were some board game cafes, and one of them actually had a copy of Fear of Dracula. So I think we played it once there. I played it there with my friends once. And then it came out. The 4th edition was made available. So I bought it immediately. It's quite funny. It's a bit of a duff copy. Because when you look at the player mats for the hunters, it says for all of them that they can all hold 4 events and 4 items. Whereas obviously only Seward could do that. But when you read the rules, it does say afterwards, yeah, it's only 3 3 events or 3 items maximum per hunter. So yeah, but the physical thing says 4. It's a bit of a duff copy, but never mind. I've got it anyway. But I played it twice with my friends, and they just didn't get it. I played as Dracula, I thought it'd be funny, right? They can just all gang up on me and that'll be hilarious. But they didn't get it, and I think that was the thing, like, I very naively assumed, oh, Dracula's the hard role, because you've got to survive against all this stuff, and make sure you don't make any illegal moves or whatever. That's a nice little aqueduct. Viaduct, one of the two. Yeah, looks like more like an aqueduct. Yeah.
Keep left.
Keep left. Okay. If this yellow car lets me, come on, put your foot down. There you go. So we're well north of Barcelona now. We're in Girona, close to the Pyrenees, close to the French border. You start seeing the landscape change. We'll start getting a lot of mountains and things at this point. Oh yeah, another toll booth. Oh, come on. I don't know why there's so many toll booths. I think, now I can't remember if it's now been outlawed or if it's going to be, but I think, at least in Catalonia, I don't know about the rest of Spain, but at least in Catalonia, I don't think there are toll booths anymore. I think they've all been made toll-free. Mate, you can't get under that. Game? Right, okay, so in case you weren't watching that, there are like, when you go to the toll booth, there are some lanes which are only for cars. And they have like this yellow, like metal sign, or like a sort of height restriction barrier. A van just went up to one of them and just drove straight through it. But it didn't break the sign. The top of the van is completely, you know, transparent apparently. Well, not even transparent. It's just it's a ghost van. It was able to drive straight through the sign, and it went underneath the height barrier. So yeah, whatever. Game. 0 out of 10 realism. So yeah, I very naively thought, oh right, Dracula's the hard role. No, Hunters are the hard role. The Hunters are the ones who have the learning curve. And my friends really struggle with it, and you know it when you're trying to learn a new game, and it's also quite a long game when you play on tabletop anyway. It took like the best part of the whole afternoon, and they lost obviously because they found it difficult, and I was able to evade them long enough, and they were just like, eh. They didn't enjoy it. They just thought it was crap. So I didn't press them to play them again. I just kind of resigned myself. Oh well, okay, I've bought this game, but now we're never going to play it again. I'm not going to sell it because I want it, and it's quite a rare game. So I don't want to sell it, and then I can't get another copy later on. So I'll keep it. But it was just gathering dust on my shelf, and then I was like, well, I guess I'm never going to play it again. As my game lags, come on, there you go. Yeah, and then obviously at that point I moved out. If people don't know, I don't live in Scotland anymore. I live in Spain. That's why I was kind of keen to drive through Spain at the beginning of this trip. While we're in the Pyrenees. Yeah, and I moved out to Spain. Obviously didn't take it with me, for obvious reasons. Are we now in France? We are. We have crossed the border, folks. We're now in France. In the middle of the Pyrenees. Well, not quite. Well, yeah, it's not very... There's mountains around here, but not too much. I think if you go slightly further west from here, Pyrenees are higher. They really need to connect. They need to make a new road. Maybe get Andorra in the game. That'd be really cool to be able to drive up to Andorra. Through sort of the very... the highest part of the Pyrenees. Here we go, now we're crossing the border properly. Now we're in France. So yeah, I moved out to Spain, and I was like, right, I'm never going to be able to, I won't be playing that game again, doesn't matter. And then, and I forgot about Fear of Dracula, just forgot it existed, focusing on other things. And then there was some evenings at work where I'd have a break in between, different shifts and things, and I'd just sit there having my dinner or whatever, having a little snack, and I'd just be watching stuff on YouTube, just to pass the time. And I don't know what prompted it. Maybe I started watching tabletop again. I don't remember. But somehow Fear of Dracula came back into my consciousness, and I was just like, oh yeah, let's start watching some Fear of Dracula videos. So I started watching, the tabletop, the game of them playing Fear of Dracula, and I found some other people playing Fear of Dracula, but obviously these videos are very old, because the game, hasn't been relevant for a few years, in terms of, board game. It's not like a new version's come out or anything. I'm just going to check. 4 hours until I have to rest. Okay, surely I'll be able to find somewhere in France. I don't have to stop here, right? Surely I'll find somewhere else in France. And hopefully not a toll booth. Hopefully I'll be able to find a proper rest stop. So we've got another toll booth to go through. This is going to be quite a common feature, folks. You have to get used to this. Ah, this one's not. This one isn't automatic. Damn. Okay, never mind. Stop. There we go. On the toll road. And then, I was just searching through YouTube, looking up Fear of Dracula videos, as you do, just trying to pass the time, and, wishing I could play the game again, but I wouldn't find people to play it with. And then suddenly, up popped a video from a certain Quincy Morris. Those of you who don't know, Quincy Morris is kind of the OG, the original, the original in terms of, especially in terms of longevity, but also in terms of consistency, sort of content creator for the digital edition of Fear of Dracula. There were some other videos that came out at the time when the digital edition was released. I know Legendary Tactics did some, there were some other videos, but obviously within, a couple of videos they kind of stopped, because they moved on to something else, or because the game was a little bit buggy at that time, or whatever. Yeah, and, but no, Quincy Morris stuck with it, and, yeah, he was putting out videos, and I was just like, I didn't know there was a digital edition, I had no idea. I know during the pandemic, I was, I was playing a lot of Tabletop Simulator with my friends, and that was a way to sort of connect with them after moving out here. We were able to play board games that we liked over tabletop. Obviously, Fear of Dracula wasn't one of them. And I didn't know that there were like digital version of the board games, like as standalone apps, if that makes sense. I mean, I've seen them before, but for like really, really well-known games like Uno or Monopoly, who have got a lot of money and they can fund these sort of digital editions and things. But I never, for like other games, like more sort of like, something a little bit niche like Fear of Dracula, I never expected it. And I was like, oh, there's a digital edition. Oh, right. And then obviously, promptly bought it. And then I was just like, well, where am I going to find people to play with? And I was like, well, who's Quincy playing against? I could kind of tell by the way Quincy was talking about these players. They weren't, like, friends in that sense. You know what I mean? He wasn't like he was playing with his own friend group. Oh, I don't want to go to Clermont-Ferrand or Paris. I want to go to Montpellier. Okay, I need to turn off. Not turn off. I need to get into the left-hand lane. Perfect. Okay. Crisis averted. That would have been awkward. If I was going completely the wrong way. You can stay on the south coast. Heading towards Marseille. Another very important Fear of Dracula location. So yeah, I kind of realized, was like, well, these people who he's talking about, they're not friends of his, right? They're not like real life friends in that sense. They're clearly people who he finds online, but what's all that about? And then there was a link to the Discord community in the description, but at times the link wouldn't work. I think there's one of these things with Discord links. If they're more than a week old, I think if you don't set it up correctly, they expire. But eventually, I don't know how I found it, maybe just through perseverance, or maybe I searched it online, or I found it through the Fear of Dracula sort of app. I have no idea. But I found the Discord community. I remember just posting and there's like, oh, is anybody here to play a game? And then, who would appear but a certain Mr. Green? And obviously I've seen Mr. Green's name on Quincy's videos. And I was suddenly like, oh my god, I'm playing against a really famous, Fear of Dracula player. Obviously, I learned then very quickly, it wasn't that I was lucky to play against a really famous Fear of Dracula player. There was just nobody else there. Mr. Green will confess, he won't mind me saying this, but that was a period of time where he was always on the app, constantly, like, I'm not joking, like half a dozen times a day, asking, is anybody free for a game? Anybody free for a game? But the community was very quiet at that time, right? There's only maybe, if I say half a dozen regular players, I think that would be an overstatement or an understatement. I think that would be pretty much spot on. It was much smaller. 30 euros. Oh, expensive. I say when I've got 17 million euros in the bank, but never mind. Yeah, so I played against Mr. Green. It was very funny. I remember going as Dracula, and I got 10 points like really early because I got a vampire to mature, and I killed a hunter in the combat because I didn't know the meta. So I just did whatever, and I don't think Mr. Green was expecting it. And I killed a hunter, and I got the vampire to mature with a rumor token. And I was just like, oh, I've already got 10 points. I only need 3 more to win. Oh, this is a piece of piss. This is, God, these Fear of Dracula players haven't got a clue what they're doing. And then I went into Spain, I went into Granada, thinking that Granada was a port city. It was not a port city, and he surrounded me with 4 hunters and he killed me. And then we played again, and he beat me again. And then at this point, I think it was Warecraft had seen me, and he was like, alright, come on, I'll take you under my wing, we'll play as hunters together, and I'll show you how to do it. So that's when I learned how to play hunters. That's the first time I ever played hunters with Warecraft. And then I was talking to Roscoe. Oh, sorry, as I veer out of my lane, because I'm trying to take some tea. I don't know how Roscoe started talking to me. Maybe he was watching me play Mr. Green, I can't remember. But obviously then once we both discovered we're both Scottish, obviously then we hit it off immediately. It is quite funny though, I do wonder, would Roscoe and I be friends if it wasn't for Fear of Dracula? We are quite different from each other. We're different generation. I think he would get very annoyed with me very quickly, I think. We're very different, but he obviously, people who watch the channel regularly know that he is become basically the co-host of this channel. He's done a lot of stuff with me, Fear of Dracula related, as a commentating on games or in discussions. We played a lot of games against each other. So yeah. So that was basically it. This was February of 2022, depending on when you're watching this. So yeah, almost 2 years ago at this point. Keep left. Okay, I don't want to go to Montpellier. I want to go to Marseille. That's fine. Yeah, I was just playing, trying to play as regularly as I could. I was playing every night after work. But I was obviously playing. There weren't many people to play against, but I was playing against Roscoe. I was playing against Mr. Green. Quincy not so much, just because of time differences. We didn't actually play very much. But Pirate Joe was around quite a lot. Warcraft, some others. And then there were some other people joining the community too, which was really great. But yeah, I wasn't recording anything at this point. I never crossed my mind to record. It was only Quincy who was recording, really. Oh, I should have maybe stopped. Okay, I've got 2 hours. Right, I need to find another rest stop at some point. As I click the wrong buttons. Okay, I'm on the Xbox controller, but to view certain things, I have to click the keyboard. So I have to take my hands off the Xbox controller. Anyway, that's why I was veering wildly between the lanes. Anyway. If everybody's not watching, we're in the south of France now. It's very different. It's incredibly flat. There's a lot of forests and things around here. But yeah, we're not quite on the coast yet either. You can't see the sea or anything. A little bit in that. Anyway. So yeah, I think it was after I played a game with Warcraft where I was Dracula. We had an epic finale where I got him into a 2v1. I still remember it. It was Seward and Van Helsing were in Bari in the south of Italy. I had a double vampire situation. They had to fight their way through 2 vampires, and then they had to fight me, and I was very low health. And in the final combat, I managed to bait him into dodging, because he thought I was going to kill his hunters with claws, but I didn't. I plotted when he dodged, and that allowed me to plot to get the card I needed to kill them the next turn. And it was epic. It was just and even though he lost, he was saying that was an amazing game. It was just so fun to play, and I think that's one of the things when you start playing the game, there is quite a steep learning curve. But once you get it, and you get hooked, and you have a really epic game like that, regardless of which way it goes, you're like, oh yeah, this is fun. This is what we live for. And I just without even thinking, I just kind of said. In the Discord community, because we were chatting about it, I did say, oh, it's a real shame that it wasn't recorded, because, that'd have been an epic game to watch again. And Quincy piped up and was just like, well, why don't you record? And I was like, oh, I hadn't thought about it, to actually record games myself. I was like, alright, go on then, let's try it. And I set up OBS, and it worked. I think because when I tried OBS, I did try OBS a few years before, on my old laptop. My old laptop was not built for gaming, so as soon as you start saying, right, you have to use OBS as well, the laptop just couldn't handle it at all. Oh, that's a beautiful little, is that a rail bridge? Oh, it looks like, well, maybe the old road bridge, but they've kept it. No, it's a road bridge next to us. Suspension bridge, but they kept it intact. It's not used very much. Maybe a little local road. That's awesome. Oh, there's the train. Yeah, there's the train bridge. The rail bridge on the other side. Oh, beautiful. Oh, so I'm going a bit too quickly. Oh, beautiful day here in the south of France. After all the fog and that going through Spain, and the rain at the beginning too. Right, where are we going now? We have to turn off here for Nice and Marseille, I suppose? Yeah, it looks like we are. Yeah. Oh, now you want to go at 90. Okay.
Keep right.
So yeah, Quincy was just like, why don't you record? And I was like, okay, let's try it. And it worked. I did the first few videos. I wonder how many of you watching were there for the first few videos. I did it without commentary. And they were disastrous. I did win I won a couple, but a couple of them were very embarrassing defeats. But it was just to provide a little bit of content. And then it was probably about maybe 4 or 5 episodes in, I'm like, bugger it. Let's do some commentary and let's just see how it goes. And it worked really well. So I was like, all right, let's just carry on doing it this way. I was a bit shy at first putting my voice on YouTube. I was like, well, yeah, but it might be more entertaining to watch with commentary, and you can actually hear what I'm thinking. And at that point, yeah, I'm gonna stop here because I've got 55 minutes until my rest stop, and there's a risk that I might not be able to find another one depending on how far away. So let's just stop now. And if it overlaps a little bit, if we wake up early so it's then still nighttime a little bit, I'm okay with it. Yeah, it's 6 PM. So yeah, we'll wake up in the early hours and that's fine. That'll work.
Rerouting.
Yeah, don't worry, mate. We're just resting for the night. Now, there's no cafes or anything around here. That's fine. We just need sleep. Apparently, we don't need to eat anything. We just need to sleep. Okay, so where are we? I'll show you on the map quickly before we rest where we are. So yeah, we're right outside Marseille. We're in between Montpellier and Marseille. So yeah, we're just under 2/3 of the way. So probably another, yeah, about an hour maximum to get to where we need to be. Especially with all the toll booths slowing us down. That means, yeah, we're going to soon be crossing into Italy. Not long. I've got quite a few toll booth stops, unfortunately. But we'll be getting to Italy very, very soon, going around Genoa and Milan. I do like the Italian map, actually. I think it's very pretty. And into Slovenia. Now, I don't know. Is Slovenia part of the West Balkans DLC? I think it is, you know. Yeah, the fact I haven't been there yet makes me think it is. Yeah, so we're going to go for a little bit of Austria. And then we'll go into start getting to the West Balkans DLC. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a rest. Ooh, 3 AM. Right, so get a little bit of night driving. I could rest again, but let's have a little bit of night driving. Let's mix it up a bit. And do I have the lights on that I need? Is full beam on? I can't tell. I really can't tell. I don't think that is full beam, you know, but I don't know. Ah, is that it? No. Oh, well, it says on full beam now, so let's just go with that. Okay. Really? What on earth did I crash into? Did I crash into the lorry that was next to me? Maybe. Oh well. Another crash penalty. So much for me going, oh, I'll go this whole trip without crashing into anything. Nope. What a plonker. Ah, right, now it's full. Okay, right, whatever. The headlights are automatic, that's fine. Right, so back on the road again. Yeah, I just started recording, and that's kind of just where it went from there. Obviously a little bit rough at the beginning, and it was just more just to put more content up on YouTube. And at the time, I didn't have a lot of confidence in what I was doing, but you know, I had mixed success, some wins, some losses. It was never about, oh, I only put wins up on YouTube. It was never about that at all. Can I get around this way? Yes, I can. No, it's got a red cross. I don't think I can then. So I'm gonna have to go to this one. Oh, don't crash into the lorry, whatever you do. There we go, that works. And yeah, and I started doing Gloomhaven as well. That wasn't a very successful series in terms of views, but I enjoyed it. I was playing a lot of Gloomhaven before I got into Fear of Dracula. That the Christmas of 2021 into 2022, unfortunately, I picked up the virus from the pandemic, which I won't say in case it flags YouTube. I don't think it will, and honestly, I'm not getting a lot of views. I don't think it matters anyway, but. I was sick with a certain viral infection. Let's call it that.
Keep left.
Okay, let's hope there's no car coming. I don't think so. I'm looking at my mirror. I can't see anything. Right, off to Nice. We're not going to Marseille. And yeah, I was playing a lot of Gloomhaven then. And then obviously when Fear of Dracula came along, I stopped playing it. But I was like, oh well, let's put some Gloomhaven up on the channel too. And that took quite a long time to get through that campaign. Sorry, I'm just seeing something that's very cool. If you're looking at the game, there's the moon. Hopefully it's getting picked up well. That is very pretty, and the night sky with all the stars too. That's a recent thing. They used to have the moon apparently, but then I don't know when they removed it. I think it was a couple about maybe I want to say 2 years ago now, or maybe it's longer. I can't remember. They updated the whole lighting system in this game, and it just changed the entire way that this game looked. And it was very impressive. You saw the change overnight, and it was amazing. Way more realistic lighting, and it was amazing. Chef's kiss. It changed the whole way. It made, without changing the graphics, it made the game look much better. It's very weird to explain. Just the changing of the lighting. But then I think at that moment they took away the moon because I think it caused problems in terms of trying to do it realistically, so they took it out. But now in the most recent update, they've added the moon back in. And they've got a starry night sky now, and the stars actually twinkle. So they're not just like these static little dots of light. They are, I don't know if you can see that, they are actually twinkling, like stars really do. It's beautiful. I love this game. It's so chill. Love it. Absolutely love it. And I'm really happy that I've got a computer that's just powerful enough that I can actually turn up the graphics and be able to appreciate it. It's not on max. I can appreciate it. So yeah. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, so yeah, recording Gloomhaven didn't do well in terms of views, but it didn't matter because it wasn't like I'm not doing this for a job or anything. It's just a hobby. So it's like, oh, it's just something fun that I can put up. And yeah, then Fear of Dracula became the main thing. And obviously, those of you who saw my early videos knew that I just like to put memes in the thumbnails and all this sort of thing. It's all a bit of fun. It wasn't meant to be like this uber serious thing. But then yeah, it was in terms of like the tournaments and stuff. That was another question I got. Was like, how did you get into organizing the tournament? I'm naturally quite competitive, not with my job or anything, but when I was younger, I loved having like quiz competitions and organizing pub quizzes for my friends and all this sort of thing. And but obviously I was an only child, so unless I was with my friends, it's been difficult to organize competitions and things. But then, you know, and also when I was playing board games and things with my parents or whatever, they weren't the most competitive. So yeah, they didn't provide a lot of competition for me, sadly. Can I go into this one? Yes, I can. And yeah, but then suddenly now I found myself in a community where there are people who are like very similar to me and, you know, getting better at the game, and I was improving with them, and I was getting over that learning curve. It just popped into my head one day. It was just like, well, who is the best player out of all of us? Who really is the best player? So let's have a competition to find out. And that's what it started off with. I had no expectation in terms of how many people would. I thought it would literally be like half a dozen of us. But it suddenly, you know, when 20 people signed up for the first competition, and quite a lot of them were old members of the community, but they came back because they suddenly realized, oh right, there's actually an active community and the game's been fixed, because there were quite a lot of bugs in the beginning. It was just fantastic to see. But I was also inspired by when I was at uni, especially in the first sort of like couple of years, I was playing a lot of Age of Empires 3. A little bit controversial, but I had the Age of Empires games. I prefer Age of Empires 3. I know Age of Empires 2 is like the OG and everyone loves it. I love Age of Empires 2 as well, but for me, Age of Empires 3 was the one for me. It came out, I got it brand new rather than it being like an old game, if that makes sense. And I just loved it. I liked the theme of it. I thought it was really impressive. I just loved it. I just played it more than Age of Empires 2. I'm terrible at Age of Empires 2, by the way. You will rinse me if you play against me. But the Age of Empires 3 community was really cool because they started doing live streams on Twitch, where they got high-level players to play against each other every week. It's called Saturday Smackdown. I had 2 commentators going together, and it was really good fun to watch. And that was kind of like my Saturday night entertainment for like the best part of like 18 months or so. And I used to watch back all the videos on YouTube afterwards, and everything was really cool. But I also saw, you know, how that community really developed, and they, you know, because at that point the game was so old that I think it was Microsoft were responsible for it. They weren't updating it anymore. So, you know, there was no balancing or anything. You know, the units and everything, all the soldiers and everything you had to, you know, and all the costs of them and whatever. It was all like from base game. There was no adaptation with meta or anything like that. But you know, here was a community which has, I don't know what, I don't know how many, you know, what the size of it was, but you know, there was quite an active community, and they were trying to organize tournaments and this sort of thing. And they were able to sort of fundraise prizes for the winner of the competitions and things. It was really impressive. Even though I didn't compete in it, I was just only watching it. I was really inspired, and you can see how the whole community transformed when they started doing, you know, these exhibition matches on Saturday evenings, European time, but also, you know, when the tournament started, because it got a lot of interest. They were able to stream it, and then it created, you know, a lot of ideas like, well, how can we improve the game? Because obviously Microsoft weren't doing it. So as a community, how could they do it? So they managed, you know, quite a few people who were part of the community who had, you know, informatic degrees and things, so they knew how to do coding. So they were able to modify the game. They were able to create mods to make the existing maps more balanced in terms of resources, and then they're able to make their own maps. So they're able to, because some of the maps were not fit for competitive play. They were more like derpy type of like fun maps, but for competition they weren't up to scratch. But then they were able to invent new maps for competition. And then I think they actually did start doing some sort of balance patches, because there were a couple. There's one in particular. The Ottomans were overpowered civilization, so they, I think, got nerfed, if I remember rightly, in certain aspects. I don't know how now. It's been too long, but I could probably guess what the nerfs were, but I won't say it just because I'm wrong. But they, you know, they were doing this sort of thing, and it created a huge buzz in the community. And you know, they were doing kind of what I've started doing with Fear of Dracula, where, you know, they got the winners of the competitions onto, you know, the live stream to chat and about their experiences and all this sort of thing. And then you saw it where you had the existing players in the community were playing, but then old players were coming back because they were, you know, they got, you know, they were infused by all the activity in the community, and they wanted to return to show off their skills and things. And it was really cool to see. And I kind of got inspired by that. And even though obviously it was several, I don't know how many years later, you know, we're talking about 6 years more or less by the time I started setting up the Fear of Dracula competitions, but I was kind of inspired by that. And I'm not saying that as a community we're going to go around modding the game and all this sort of thing. Oh, what is going on here? We had an accident. I think we have. Yeah, there's a little bit of a traffic jam ahead at this toll booth. I'm not quite sure why. I think there's been an accident, potentially. The AI are a little bit derpy, and they do crash into each other sometimes. That's fine. We can just chill here for a bit. As the sun rises on day 3 of our trip across Europe. No, it's not. There's roadworks or some sort of accidents happening up ahead, and we're having to merge into lanes. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. If that's the case, I might try and merge ahead of time then. I'm going to sort of abuse the AI a little bit here, and I'll move into the middle lane sooner, so I can get ahead of this queue. Queue jumping. Not. That is very anti-British. British people love forming proper queues. But yeah, I don't want to be stuck behind the AI taking the time. Oh, there was a fire. A lorry trailer was on fire. All seems like everything's fine. Everyone's okay. The fire's being put out now. You do get these sort of like random events that happen along the way. The worst one are the diversions. We have to divert completely. I've turned the probability of that down almost to 0 because it got incredibly annoying when that happened. Especially when you knew, alright, I want to stop to get fuel up here or to rest up here. And then you couldn't. Oh, look at that sunrise. God, that's a very intense sun. Straight ahead of us. You see, look, that's very intense, but it feels very real. Whereas before the whole lighting update, that wasn't the way it was done. I don't even know if there was a sun back then. I think it was just the background lighting increased. I don't think they actually had like a proper, you know, position of the sun, and they didn't, you know, the game now properly kind of calculates, right, if the sun's in this position, how does that affect the shadows, what would the intensity of light to be in different directions and things, and at different times of the day. Whereas I think just before it was just like this background is like, yep, here's the intensity of light, end of story. So it's very well done. No, it's very impressive. And it looks lovely and real.
Keep left.
Keep left. Okay, son. That's what I shall do. Oh! Yep, there we go. I didn't take that corner too well. Where are we off to now? Off to Turin. But we're not in France yet. All the signs are still in French. So yeah, we haven't crossed the border yet. We must be near Monaco if that's the case. Or maybe we've already passed Monaco. Yeah, so I was just really inspired by the whole Age of Empires community, and just like, you know, you saw like how it created this community buzz. And obviously because all the games got streamed, so then that was very high level play, and that then encouraged more people to learn and play, and it's like this sort of like cyclic thing, right? So, you know, I was like, well, let's do like two birds with one stone. You know, let's find out once and for all who's the best player in this community, who has the bragging rights, and fulfill my competitive side, yeah, my competitive urge. But then at the same time, you know, hopefully it'll generate a bit of a buzz. It'll be high level content as well for YouTube, and it never been done before either. Yeah, I was just overwhelmed with the response. I put out like a message on the Discord community just asking, you know, what do people think, and quite a lot of people said yes. So then I organized it properly, and it all worked out. There were some hiccups. I think finding out about the bug of Speedy Telegraph literally on the eve of the tournament, that filled me with a lot of dread, but it didn't affect too many games, fortunately. I'm going to pull out before this coach gets too close to me. Yep, that's a turn off for Nice. So yeah, we can't be far. We're not far away from the border. We'll soon be in Italia. You can't see me, but I'm gesturing in Italian with the what's it called, the two forefingers and the thumb together. Oh, is this the automatic one? Perfect. That's fine. That's what we want. So yeah, a little bit dread. And I remember when the tournament started in September of 2022. September's my quiet month for work, which was a good thing and a bad thing. It meant I could keep an eye on the tournament, but at the same time, it meant I did nothing else apart from just sit at my laptop and like, has somebody messaged me? Is everything okay? Are the matches going fine? Are people organising things correctly? It's a big learning curve for me as an organiser, but also as a learning curve for everybody else, because they're like, how do we organise these matches? When are we supposed to do it by? Where are the fixtures? Where's this? Where's this? Where's this? And it was all a bit mad. And the first week was not a disaster. It was definitely, but it was, people were very confused by everything. Once we got through the first sort of like 10 days, then people started realizing, right, okay, we have to organize. All right, here are the fixtures. Right, we have to organize the matches. Oh, we can pick any time we want. Right, okay, we do that. And then you have to send the results to Scotsword. Right. It all then fell into place. Obviously back then we didn't have a dedicated Discord server just for the tournaments. It was all done through the Nomad Discord, which worked well. But obviously then the flaws started presenting themselves very quickly. It went well, and I think, you know, it was well received, and obviously I won it, so I was very happy about that. Did not expect that at all, by the way. I mean, you would have heard me before the tournament, that my only expectation was to get out of the first stage group and try and get into the final league. I had no expectations of winning. It was only then once I won. Did I win the group? Well, I was really, really close to winning the group. I was like, oh well, I actually might have a chance here. It all came down to the wire, came down to the final game against Warcraft, but even though he beat me, I was able to see out the win. And yeah, it was all very good stuff. And then was like, well, if the community want more, we'll do more. So then we did the regional championships in the spring of this year, 2023. But then we had a lot of changes there. We went into a brand new, you know, Discord server just for the tournament, and I think that was really important because it meant we could not just all lump everything into one channel on the Nomad Discord server. We're able to spread things out, and you know, everyone could like, right, here are the rules. Here are, you know, there's different sections for different things. I could, you know, more easily communicate with the players using the Discord. So yeah, I think that was a big change, and I think it just made it all look more professional, more professional than it already was. Hey, we're in Italy now. I'm going for the map. Oh, that's beautiful. There's the sea right beside us, in between the mountains. We're cutting through the mountains here. We're very close to Genoa. But we just got a very quick glimpse of the sea there, of the Mediterranean, and it looked stunning. Picturesque, you might say. So hopefully we'll be able to see it again. If you are looking at the screen, it'll be on your right hand side now as we come out of this tunnel. Okay, I'll slow down. Oh, beautiful, there it is. I go into the external view. Yeah, we're right along the Mediterranean coast, cutting through the mountains as we do so. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. That's the thing, I love this about, you know, the European landscape is so diverse. And also then you got all the different countries, so the road styles are slightly different. You know, even just a trip like this. I know it's a very long trip, but it's just there's so many changes along the way. It's awesome. So yeah. Oh, which one do I need to get in? This one will work, right? Is this the automatic one? I think it is. We'll find out. Telepass. Yep. Okay. Perfect. So yeah, that's basically how I got into it. It's kind of by accident, really, with the Fear of Dracula content, and then with the tournaments, but it's worked out. And yeah, I think also now, especially now we've had 3 tournaments. As I'm recording this, the League of Dracula 2023 has just ended. So I feel like now, you know, and I think also PTC Lee will probably be my collaborator who helps with producing the PDFs and organizing result tables and things. Especially me as organizer, you know, I've learned to let go a little bit. I've kind of been able to now that I've got it to work now 3 times, especially after the first time, I was kind of like, right, I can let go. Like, people can organize it for themselves. If I give them the info, you know, there are enough people who have played in tournaments before that they can guide the newer players through it. So I don't have to be so as hands-on as I had to be. And I'm still hands-on, but not in a way where I'm like panicking about everything, and like, you know, I can kind of just take a step back a little bit from it. It's also helped in the most recent tournament I didn't compete. I wanted to, but just real life stuff. Getting married took priority, which is understandable. I think you can agree. I don't. Let's put it this way: if I said I was going to compete, there's a good chance I might not have even got married. I think the divorce would have been filed before the marriage. Let's be honest. Yeah, but hopefully I can compete again soon. I did miss it, but it's actually also really nice too. This tournament, I could just sit back and watch it from an outsider's perspective, which I thought was really cool. So yeah, in the spring we did the regional competition, so you only played within your regions. That definitely helped out in terms of, you know, time zones and things. Made it a little bit easier for players to organize, which is cool. And then, you know, we've had the World Championship just now, and it's gone well. We've changed the structure a little bit, and I think, you know, I think it worked well in certain aspects. I think there are other ways that maybe it didn't work quite so well, but I think from what I could see, it was an overall positive experience. Also, we finished a week earlier than last year, so even though all the players are tired, I think they're at just the right level. You know what I mean? They're tired, because it is obviously a very intense game, and it's very, you know, you're talking about a lot of concentration when you're playing. There's a lot going on that you need to think about. So they are tired of it, and they need a break, but at the same time, they're not. I didn't get the sense that they're fed up of the game. I think that it's just that fine balance, and they're still able to play well. So I think we've ended on a high. The competition's just ended now that I'm recording this, and I think it means then we just reached that point where people are not sick to death of it, and they'll have, you know, they'll be able to relax over Christmas, take it easy, and then, you know, in the spring we can then think about a new tournament. So I'm already thinking about it, what we can do. Also, I'm going to run that by the community, and we'll see what they think. Going through lots of little tunnels here. We're kind of really close to Genoa. I think this is Genoa right here. Oh, there's a plane taking off too. Now, there was actually, in real life, there was a bridge around near Genoa that collapsed. Now I don't know how they did it in the game. I think in the game, I think they had like a special event where they were trying to encourage. So basically, the way SES does quite a cool thing in this game, where they have like jobs that you can do where you're transporting things which are like built into the game. But they also have a thing called World of Trucks, which is kind of like this community-based kind of system, where the time limit that you're given for doing the trip, for delivering the cargo, is real time, not in-game time. So in that sense, it's not as realistic. You kind of take your time over it. Like, see, this is one from that system. I've got 11, real life hours to play this. But it all contributes into a profile that you can see online. You can take photographs of your truck as you're driving around, and you can put them up on the website, and people can vote on it and stuff, which is very cool. But they also hold events. So, for example, with the West Balkans DLC that's just been released, they put out an event which was right. If you deliver X number of, they do a certain number of trips involving cities which are in the West Balkans DLC, you get a little prize. So there are two objectives. There's a community objective that the whole community is trying to achieve, which is normally very high. So you have to do like 1 million trips, which sounds like a lot, but there's so many people who play this game that they complete it really quickly. And there'll be a personal one. We have to do like 10 trips individually or something. So for example, sitting next to me here in the cab, I've got a little Iberian Lynx plushie toy thing. And I got that because I completed, when the Iberian DLC came out, I completed all the Iberian objectives through the World of Trucks server. So I did, the community goal was achieved and my personal goal was achieved, so my little prize was a little Iberian Lynx. And also got some special customized sort of designs for the outside of my truck, but I haven't used them. I think I used one for a little bit, and then I switched back to this sort of black and white and red style that I've got on at the moment. So yeah, I haven't done the West Balkans one yet. I haven't done any for a while. They did one over Halloween as well. They'll probably do one over Christmas as well, delivering presents for Santa, obviously. So we'll see. If I play this game more often, I might be able to achieve them. Obviously, when Iberia came out, I played this game so much, and it was very easy for me to achieve the objective. That's why I've got my little Iberian Lynx sitting next to me. Very happy being with me in the cab. It's not a real lynx, don't worry. They're an endangered species. I don't think we could do that. Nice little plushie sitting next to me, keeping me company. Why did I come up with that World of Trucks? Oh yeah, so yeah, just when there was a thing, unfortunately, there was a bridge near Genoa which collapsed during a storm. I don't know how long ago this was, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. And I think in the community they did like a special event where, to sort of help with the reconstruction of the bridge, that people in the game, people could take construction equipment to Genoa and they would, contribute towards it. So I actually don't know now how they've done it with the game. Have they updated it so that the new bridge is there, or no? I'm not too sure. I think so. So I think we crossed over it. I think there is a new bridge there now. I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up actually. It's been a while since I've researched that topic. Anyway, yeah, we're well into Italy now. We've gone past Genoa. We're heading towards Milan, so we'll kind of sort of snake around Milan. We'll get pretty close to Venice as well. I don't know. We won't go through Venice, but we'll bypass it pretty close, I think. And then we'll just cross the border. I think we go a little bit into Austria. And then we'll be in Slovenia. So yeah, we're not far away at all. How far are we? 700 kilometers. 770 kilometers. So how long? What's that in miles? I don't know, like 400 and 500 miles, more or less. Can't do quick maths. It's 1.6 kilometers to a mile, more or less. I don't have to rest yet. I've got 3 hours. Yeah, so we're gonna have to be driving at night, unfortunately, because by the time I rest, so I drive for 3 hours. That'll be 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Rest will be about 9 p.m. So yeah, I'm gonna have to be driving a bit at night. But that's okay. We've had quite a lot of daytime driving, so I don't mind doing some stuff at night. And we'll hopefully see the moon again and the beautiful night sky, and that'll That'll be a perfect way to end the trip. So yeah, over Christmas I've got lots of things to do, real life stuff, but I want to, in terms of the channel, I want to start releasing more Fear of Dracula videos again, do that regularly, and they're going to have to be fun, sort of like meme type games, but that's fine. But obviously I've not played very much, so I'm very out of practice, so you'll be able to laugh at me at how bad I am right now. Yeah, and start thinking I want to do a couple of videos, you know, giving tips and tricks, advice for playing as Dracula, because I did one for the Hunters before the tournament, and I didn't get around to doing the Dracula one. I want to do a video wrapping up the tournament and talking about what we've learned from it, because I think there's quite a lot of things from meta and things that we can definitely look at, which I think is very cool. Keep right, okay. Why is that then? Where would I be going if I went straight ahead? Oh, to Zurich. Okay, and Geneva, right? I don't want to go there. Yeah, we're not going to Switzerland. Not today. Apparently they've reworked the Alps. I'd love to go there. In the Pro Mods version, the Alps were beautiful. So maybe in the next episode. We'll, so I don't think I said it at the beginning, but yeah, this little series of videos. I'm going to do this occasionally. I'm doing first couple obviously because of Christmas, but this is something I can sort of come back to maybe every, I don't know, like once a month or something. And I'll have a little playlist in the channel.
Keep left.
And you can just dive in and out of these videos however and whenever you wish to do so. So yeah, that's more in terms of, you know, media stuff. I haven't got a lot of things to say about books and films. I did watch a lot of films when I was younger, but now not so much. Maybe that might change when I move flat. My habits might change a little bit, and I'll be able to read a bit more. So I'll have actually, like, you know, a bit more space and a little bit more sort of like, you know, I'll be on my own a bit more, so I'll be able to have a bit more peace and quiet, so I can sit and read. I'll do so before bed, and so I do want to transition a little bit away from the laptop. Obviously, with the channel and stuff, I will be on the laptop a lot. But I want to do some different things, and I have really sort of let things go in terms of films and TV series. The way I'm kind of playing is like, well, if the series or the film is really that good, I'll get around to it eventually. I think the only series I've watched recently was actually Arcane. That was the series based on League of Legends. I know that came out 2 years ago. Yeah, I know. I'm a little bit slow on the bandwagon, but very good series actually. I was very impressed with it. Very, very cool. Not just because I played League of Legends. I think saying play is a little bit disingenuous. I don't play that much anymore. That was a game I sunk so many hours into. Oh, careful, man! Don't step out. That's a lot of hours that I sunk into. I dedicated a lot of time to that game, and didn't get a lot out of it. Only reached, like, I think I got to gold. I always kept saying to myself, oh, if I played regularly, I'd probably be able to get up to platinum, but jeez, the ranked matches are so toxic. So toxic. My mental's actually pretty good. I don't get toxic back. And it depends on the day. Sometimes I get very affected by what people say, but often my mental's actually pretty strong. My problem was that the character... that plane's very close to us. Sorry, there's a plane taking off. I guess it's from Milan Airport. That's actually really cool. You can see it taking off there. Off to Verona. Anyways, yeah, my mental's actually pretty good. I'd be quite mentally strong. The problem was I played the character I used to play in League of Legends called Vel'Koz, which is like a magic-based champion. And the problem is the meta of the game has shifted a lot since Vel'Koz was released. The meta now is all very much like lots of very mobile champions. Lots of mobility, lots of like reset mechanics, lots of like invulnerability mechanics where you press an ability or you do something and you become invulnerable and then you become targetable again. Vel'Koz was built in a completely different era where the game was much slower, and he could just sit there and laser you for, you know, for 5 seconds and would not be in much danger. So there's a lot of skill with playing the champion, which is really good fun. It's a very sort of geometric champion as well. I'm not good at button mashing. That I can't do. I've never been good at it. When I used to play Call of Duty, terrible at it. When I was playing League of Legends, if I'm playing something like Katarina or something like these very like button, or Akali, very button mashy type combo champions, not good at it. If it's slow and strategic, and I have to think carefully about, right, you're going to be there in a couple seconds, I can place this ability here and so on, that's better. But it's very hard to play Vel'Koz because he doesn't carry the games. Or the number of times I would get a very high score, but it'd be very hard to carry, and my team would just give up. And I'm like, hello, I'm winning my lane really hard. If you just group around me, we can win the game. No, of course not. Because everyone's a law unto themselves, and they don't want to win the game. They'd rather throw the game because they can't be the carry. You know what I mean? Whereas if I was losing my lane, I'd be very much like, right, there's a fed person, you know, there's a person in my team who's playing very, very well. I'll group behind them, and I'll just conserve and not throw, you know, I won't lose any harder. So then when we get into team fights, I can group with that person. When it's the other way around, did they group around me? Did they heck? Which is very annoying. Right, I'm gonna find somewhere to stop. I've only got an hour left, and I've started yawning, so yeah. See, I don't play League of Legends much anymore. It's not that I've quit, you know. It's not like, I know there are some people, you know, I've had friends and you see on YouTube and on Twitch where people just like, that's it, I've had enough, I quit. It wasn't like that. It was just like, do you play League of Legends anymore? No. So there's just other things that I'd rather play, like Fear of Dracula. Yeah, I really enjoy playing board games. It's just that, you know, slower element to it, and it's just a little bit more strategic. Yeah. I don't really know why Fear of Dracula clicked with me so much. It just happened kind of naturally. I just learned Hunters very quickly, and I just went from there, really. There are some board games I'm terrible at. I was playing, I don't know if you know, there's a board game called, I think it's Portuguese, so it's Azul rather than a full in Spanish. It's like a game where you're playing like, you're having to make a mosaic, basically. Oh, see easy. Right, we'll go into here and we'll rest up. Sweet. Yes, you're having to take tiles from the center of the board in order to build a mosaic. Oh, it's raining again. Wow, getting all the different weathers today. I'm terrible at it. Even though I understand the strategy, I'm just like, nah. Maybe I just don't concentrate enough or whatever. I love it. I think it's a great game, but I'm terrible at it. Right, so where are we? We are in the center of like sort of the northern part of Italy here. So we're near Verona. We're going to go around Venice and then make our way into a little bit of Austria. We're going to go past Klagenfurt and then Graz and then get down into the northern part of northeastern part of Slovenia, and that's our trip done. So yeah, it'll be one more full day of driving. Basically, we've got 11 hours worth of. Oh, that's not what I want to press. I'm pressing all the wrong buttons. Yep, so we've got 11 hours worth of driving I can do, and we've only got about 8 hours ish to go. So that's perfect. It's in the rain, unfortunately. Right, let's not try and hit that truck that I did in the previous time. Anything coming? Nope. Do I go get petrol here? Yes, I do need petrol. Perfect. 2 birds with 1 stone. So we're going to be driving at night. It's now 10:30. That's okay, as I said. We'll get a little bit of night driving. Not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, I'm full. Perfect. Okay, off we go. But yeah, so yeah, not reading a lot of stuff at the moment, not watching many series, but I do want to change that. I do want to watch more stuff. Oh, yeah, that would have been a bad idea to pull out right then. Oh, I didn't need to pull out. Oh well, never mind. Back we go. So yeah, in my downtime, yeah, listening to quite a bit of music. Not discovering a lot of new stuff. I'm kind of going back and listening to things from the last sort of like 2-3 years, bands I like, but that's fine. But yeah, I do like I do watch quite a lot of YouTube. I do watch some things for games, but not so much anymore, really. Because there's kind of a moment where I say like, oh, what am I doing? Why am I watching all these videos for games? So it's more kind of like if it's a board game I want to learn, I'll watch that. If it's a board game like I'm now playing Wingspan on the channel, so I will watch some Wingspan videos, especially as they're quite short, so they're quite easy to watch over dinner. And obviously, you know, Free of Dracula stuff I'll watch. But yeah, the other things I watch on YouTube, quite a lot of sort of like mini sort of documentary style things. It was actually quite funny when I put the when I put the post up on my community page saying, "Oh, if there's anything that you want me to talk about, tell me." And Quincy Morris replied saying, "Religion and politics." Obviously, I'm not gonna talk about you know my ideologies or whatever, but I do actually listen to quite a lot of sort of political discussion and discourse on YouTube. Not so much from Spain. I really do need to get into like Spanish politics and kind of keep track of what's going on, especially if I'm going to stay here for the long term. But I'm still trying to keep up to date with lots of stuff that's happening in the UK, so I do listen to a lot of political commentary on that. And just also worldwide stuff that's been happening, because there's been quite a lot of, you know, unfortunately quite a lot of conflicts happening these days, and just trying to keep up to date with what's happening with that. But yeah, anything kind of like geopolitical related I find really fascinating. Anything geography based. I didn't really study much history at school, and I'm terrible at remembering dates and all this sort of thing. I wouldn't be able to name you the dates of any battles or whatever, or which king was alive on this day, but I do just like listening, almost like podcast style, you know, history-related videos. There's a really nice channel that I like called Alternate. It's not alternative. It's Alternate History Hub, where the guy kind of imagines, the host of the channel imagines if you know if something changed in our historical timeline, then what would be the effects of that? It's just kind of cool to think about. Even though I know nothing about history, but it's just kind of interesting to ponder and think about it. And obviously then it does influence things like geography and politics and all this sort of stuff. It's very cool. Do I just turn off here? I don't think so. No, the Italian roads, they have separate slip roads. I can just stay in this inside lane all the time, which is awesome. We're heading towards Venice now. Venezia. So yeah, I do like watching that sort of stuff. Again, I when I was a teenager, I used to watch quite a bit of football because I was at home with a TV, so I used to watch all the football results and all that sort of stuff. But now that I live in a home which does have a TV but doesn't have a subscription to football and stuff, and also not in the right country, I don't see, you know, I don't see the English football league like I used to. But sorry, there's a toll booth up ahead. I just had to. My brain couldn't do two things at once there, and yeah, but I do still listen to like sort of podcasts about the football. There's a very good channel called TIFO, TIFO, and also The Athletic, where they talk a lot of things about things which are happening in football and statistics and strategies and tactics and all that sort of thing, which is I like. Again, I'm not taking an active interest in the sense like I don't I'm just consuming the content, but I do like listening to it, and it's very cool. So yeah, I'm just finding things I like on YouTube, educational things, scientific things as well. If there's any science-based things, I like to listen to that. So yeah, just constantly learning stuff. That part of my brain just doesn't switch off. I always want to learn things. I may not remember it because obviously I'm not having to memorize things for exams like I used to when I was younger. But yeah, I will. My memory for information is a little bit selective sometimes. But I always used to love. Okay, keep left. I should be okay in this lane, I think. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. But yeah, as a kid, I always used to love just learning random facts and then telling my friends about it. So I just love learning stuff and just absorbing information. I just think it's just the day you stop learning is the day that you die. That's the way that's my mantra. And I just love learning stuff and just trying to dispel preconceptions, or just finding about parts of the world that you've never been to, or even though that I'm never going to go to that part of the world, but if I can learn a bit about the culture and things, it's all really cool. Obviously, I'm learning Spanish because obviously I'm living here, so I want to take an interest and learn the language. So I'm getting there. I'm not by any means fluent, but I'm getting there with it. I'm kind of reaching the serious point where I want to start doing some official exams to get qualifications in the language. So, just keep progressing with that. And also help. If I can, I need to start consuming more Spanish media just to keep improving more and more and just surround myself with the language even more. So yeah, I need to make a bit more of an effort to transition away from always being in an English-speaking community and switch to Spanish community. But obviously it's a bit difficult when you're trying to run, Fear of Dracula competitions and things and doing stuff for YouTube. Everything's in English. But yeah, you never know. I might maybe should I do a Fear of Dracula episode in Spanish one day? I can try it. There'll be a lot of mistakes, but let's see. Set myself a challenge. Yeah. What else? Maybe something we were talking about music earlier. That was me listening to music. I don't know if you expect me to say this, but I play the bagpipes. The Scottish Highland bagpipe. That was a thing I picked up. How old was I? I was about 11, I think, just at the end of primary school, just before going to secondary school or high school, how you want to call it. Yeah, I was about 11, and I had two friends who played it, and yeah, this kind of goes back into my heritage a little bit. Even though I keep calling myself Scottish, I'm not actually Scottish. I know, shock horror. You maybe tell from my accent, I'm not that Scottish the way I speak. There are some things, but not a lot of stuff. I got a little bit of a mixture of an accent. No, I was actually born in England. I've had all my education in Scotland, so I will never ever say that I'm from England, because I will always say I'm from Scotland. Because even though I've been to England, obviously I got no personal problem with England or anything. And I've still got family in England, but I don't identify with it. It's kind of like this thing where I will always identify as being Scottish. I have no memory of living in England. It was just the place I used to go to sometimes on summer holidays to visit my family. But it wasn't. It wasn't something I identified with it when I was younger. It's kind of weird. When I was in primary school, I identified as being English more. Obviously, all my friends were Scottish. I was like the only English kid in school, especially in primary school. In secondary school, it was different. There were a few more English kids. So I definitely felt like an outsider in that sense. I spoke different from my... Oops, sorry, I hit the microphone. As you do. I spoke different to all my friends. So I was like a little bit like an outsider in that sense. And This is embarrassing, but I'll say it anyway because it's quite funny. The first football World Cup that I ever saw, or I remember, was the 2002 World Cup. And I don't know how, but somebody had found like a really old TV in primary school, and they wheeled it into the canteen area. And while we were having our break, we were watching it. And I remember distinctly it was the semi-final between Brazil. Was it semi-final or quarter-final? No, it had to be quarter-final, surely. Between Brazil and England. You know, the famous one where Ronaldinho lobbed David Seaman from like 40 yards out. And I remember seeing it and just obviously seeing at the top Brazil, England, right? And obviously naive. How old was I at the time? It was 2002. I was like 7 or 8. Naive, you know, 7, 8-year-old, thinking, oh well, we're in Scotland. England's the neighbouring country. We're all part of the United Kingdom. Everyone's gonna be supporting England, right? So I was just like, oh, come on, England. Everyone was just like, shut up. So I learned very quickly that in Scotland there's a bit of a mentality of you support Scotland and then whichever team England is playing. So I learned that pretty quickly. I don't have that mentality so much. I only have the mentality when sometimes this happens before World Cups and things. The English media hype up the England team, especially for football. Rugby and stuff, I'm not so much. I'm not really into that. But in terms of football, the English media can get a bit manic, let's say, and they really hype up England way too much, and they get a little bit arrogant about it. I'm like, right, I hope you crash and burn now. But you know, if England play well, I'm not going to sit there and actively support them. You know, support the other team, if that makes sense. But obviously, I always support Scotland. You'll never catch me in an England shirt. Yeah, so you know, so as a primary school kid, I kind of identified more with my Englishness, but then as time has gone on, I just identify way more. Sorry, I'm just going to have to cut myself off. Look at this night sky. Sorry, I know people might not be watching this, but the night sky is so pretty. Stars everywhere. I can't make out the constellations very well, but extremely pretty. What a way to end the trip. Very beautiful. Little twinkling stars everywhere right in front of us. I can't see the moon. Maybe the moon is behind us. I'm not too sure. Anyway. So yeah, now as I got older, I identify a lot more with that Scottish part of me. Because it's had way more of an... Oh, I've had my wipers on way too long. I didn't even realize it stopped raining. Yeah, so I identify way more of that Scottish part. You know, so I always say, you know, I'm from Scotland. I'm Scottish. I'm not English. Even though, you know, my place of birth says otherwise. So yeah, I think it was towards the end of primary school. I was like, well, I need to become more Scottish. And then there were 2 friends of mine who were learning to play the bagpipes. So I was like, oh, that sounds fun, let's do that. And I never learned a musical instrument before, and I didn't even know I'd be good at it or not. Yeah, started getting private classes, and then that was all the way through secondary school I was playing that. I really enjoyed it. It was just something different. And it was just nice having a private teacher, because we did do music classes in school, especially in secondary school, but they were just awful. You know, the type of classes where you had to practice, I don't know, playing the drums on like a tiny little like drum pad, like I don't know, just a very simple pad in front of you, and then the teacher at the end of the class would tell all of you to go up and play the drum kit for like 5 minutes, and then she'd be like, why can't you play it properly? I'm like, well, because it requires a lot of coordination, and I'm not a very coordinated person, so that's not going to work. Also, how on earth do you expect us to play this? I think the thing that really did me in for music class was we did a singing like evaluation, but I think a lot of you will spot the flaw in this plan if you are assessing how good students are at singing at the age of 13 and 14, especially boys. I think a lot of you can see the flaw in this plan immediately, and it was the lowest grade I received out of any subject ever. And you know what? I just didn't care. I actually cheered when I got the grade, because I was like, this is an absolute shit show. I didn't say that. I didn't care. I was like, how on earth can you evaluate me for singing when my voice is breaking? Are you mad? But, you know, the teacher was old and very close to retirement age, so they didn't care. they were beyond caring at that point. So yeah, hated music class in school, but I loved being able to go just once a week and play the bagpipes. Or you play the chanter first. The chanter is kind of like the part where you have to play the musical notes and then you have to do like you breathe into it. Kind of like almost like imagine like not a flute, but a flute that you play vertically rather than horizontally, if that makes sense. So you learn that first and then you transition to the bagpipes. I used to go to pipe band as well, one night a week, and pipe band was really good fun in terms of like learning how to then coordinate your playing and breathing, so then you are in line with everybody else. In that sense, that was very good. But the problem is like pipe band is very, I guess it has its roots in like military and stuff, so it was quite, you know, you need a lot of discipline. You need a lot of discipline to play the instrument anyway. Yeah, all the songs we played were very kind of like traditional, you know, sort of like military tunes and all that sort of stuff. It was really good. I did like, you know, how when we went on parade and things, and we used to play. Or I used to like just going out individually if I was like busking in the street or whatever. Oh, sorry, the game's a little bit laggy. I'm not quite sure why, but hopefully it'll fix itself in a minute. As we go through this tunnel somewhere, I guess we're in the Alps. Ish. I don't know if we've crossed into Austria yet. I haven't seen the signs if we have. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. But the problem was just pipe band. You just used to play the same tunes over and over and over, and it got really boring for me in that sense. I just wanted to keep learning new ones and getting better. And especially there was a moment where it suddenly clicked for me because I hadn't really learned music theory properly, and suddenly there was a moment where it clicked like, ah, right, that's the relationship between all the notes and, you know, the time signature and all that stuff. Ah, right, got it. Then it was really cool because it means I could just go into any book and find a tune and be able to play it. I wasn't the most skilled. I want to make this really clear. I was not a very, very good bagpiper, but, you know, serviceable. And I enjoyed it, and that was kind of the main thing. I just wanted to enjoy it. Because I always have a problem when you're in pipe bands. There's kind of then this expectation you're going to compete. And that, I had, even though I just said I was very competitive, in terms of bagpipes, I had no competitive urge at all. If I'm playing games or sports or things, yeah, go for it. But for bagpiping, I just couldn't give a toss about competing. It was just like the thing I just didn't want to do. I did it once. We did a group one. And I was just like, this is crap. And there was one we were trying to keep left. Okay, I will keep left. Where are we off to? Oh, we must be in Austria already, given the signs, and they're all in German. Or Austria. Yeah, okay, so we are in Austria already. Nice. Okay, so we are kind of in and around the Alps and things. Yeah, there was one where we were trying to compete. Oh, there's the moon. Oh, beautiful. I don't know how they're doing it with the phases of the moon in this game, because I've seen some pictures where they've got full moons, so I don't know how they do it in terms of, does the moon phases actually change? Like, if I played, say, another, you know, 30 days, would I, or 28 days, would I see the cycles of the moon? I don't know. We'll have to keep playing and find out. Yeah, there was one where they were trying to do like a more serious competition. I just couldn't give a monkeys, honestly. I almost, I know this is going to sound terrible to say this. When I went to practice with my teacher, I kind of sabotaged my playing so then he wouldn't pick me for the competition because I just couldn't. I just didn't. And that's the problem when you're like that teenager, right? I didn't have the self-confidence to be able to say to my teacher, I don't want to compete because I'm not interested. Yeah, I think as a teenager you don't have that sort of level of experience and understanding about yourself. Maybe some people do, but I didn't at that time. I didn't have the confidence and also like to go to an authority figure and kind of be like, I don't want to do this. I'm doing this for fun. I don't want to compete. I have no interest in competing. Now, does that mean that maybe I didn't improve? I wouldn't, you know, I would improve faster if I competed. Yeah, maybe. But I didn't want to. I wasn't interested. I think that's kind of an important lesson. I think as you get older, you just suddenly realize, you know, you like what you like and you don't like what you don't like. And, you know, it's absolutely fine. If you don't enjoy something, don't do it. Ooh. We have a beautiful sunrise on the horizon. Slightly reddish haze. And you got the moon right in front of us too, and that's going to start fading away. What a beautiful way to end the journey. That was awesome. So yeah, I played Bagpipes just for fun, and then the problem is when I went to university, because I moved from a house to a flat, wasn't able to play very much. I took my chanto, the electric chanto with me, so I could still practice the tunes in that sense, but I didn't play the bagpipes. So there's a good pretty much 8 years that I didn't play the bagpipes. Yeah. And obviously I wasn't the best bagpipe to begin with, but I lost a lot of skill. And a lot of my ability with it, which is understandable after 8 years. And then it was just very recently, you know, just life circumstances worked out, and I was like, I need to play these. I want to play the bagpipes again. I mean, I played them in my wedding. I got married a couple months ago, and I played them at the wedding. So obviously I was having to practice in order to play in the wedding, which was kind of important. And I did get a little bit frustrated at the beginning, but as it got closer, and then on the actual wedding day, seeing the reaction of everybody, I was like, oh, this is just really fun. And I'm just doing it for me. I'm not doing it necessarily for everybody. It's really cool, obviously, when people see me play, because obviously here it's a bit unusual, and everyone was going mad about it, and it was really good fun. But at the end of the day, I'm not doing it for other people. I'm doing it for me. First, I really enjoy it, and I've actually, you know, I've been going out, you know, even if it's just once a week, because obviously I'm still stuck in a flat, so I can't practice every day or anything. But if I go out once a week and practice, I love it, and I've actually found that it's actually kind of been a really good thing for my mental health too, just to go out and do something a little bit different, and you know, I love going for walks and things, but you know, it's just, in fact, I'm going outside and doing something different. And I'm putting my focus and energy into something. Sometimes I don't play that well, but I'm just trying not to let it affect me too much. It's like, no, it's part of the learning process. You haven't done it for 8 years. You need to slowly, you know, build up again, and bit by bit. Once I get the basic tunes that I know very well, once I've got them and I can play them regularly without getting too tired, then I can start, you know, relearning some of the tunes I've now lost. I don't play overcomplicated stuff, just basic things, but I really enjoy it. I think it's really good fun. I said I'm doing it for me. Wow. What a beautiful sunrise. Maybe that should be the thumbnail for the video. Problem is then I think maybe that might be a good thumbnail. But if not, I'll go through and find a good moment and I'll screenshot it. Or maybe I'll use a default kind of like a default background. We'll see. Yeah. No, just very, you know, I think that's the thing, and it's really interesting too. Like when I used to play, and you know, people would see me in the street and they would chat to me, or you know, I'd go around to house parties and play and whatever. The number of times that people would come up to me and say, "Oh, I used to play it when I was younger. I gave it up and now I regret it." And I've now had that moment where I had 8 years without playing it, and I didn't give up. It wasn't like a conscious. Again, it was kind of similar to League of Legends. It wasn't a conscious decision. It was just, you know, life circumstances meant I couldn't have the bagpipes with me. But now I've started playing again, and I played it at the wedding or whatever. Yep. Oh, we're at Maribor already. Oh wow. We flew through Austria. Wasn't a very long leg, to be honest, but oh, why are we lagging? We've been almost lag free. We've had a couple of moments, but this is probably the worst one we've had so far. Oh, there we go, back again. Sorry folks, I don't know what that is actually. Maybe it could be something on my computer that's like trying to run as just my computer can't cope. Or maybe there is a moment where things are spawning and it needs a little bit of time to catch up with itself. Overall, actually, this run's been pretty smooth, all things considered. Keep left, okay? We'll do. Yeah, we're almost there. Oh, 73 kilometers. Wow, yeah. We made it, folks. In more or less one piece. No damage. Substantial vehicle wear, really? Yeah, they've added a new damage system into this game as well. because this truck's now quite old, maybe there is some wear and tear. But no damage, no like, you know, superficial damage or anything. Had a couple of crashes, but one of them, the game kind of screwed me over. That's my excuse anyway. It's fine. So I hope you've enjoyed. What was that? Oh, hey, we're in Slovenia now. That's just the border that we've crossed. Or maybe this is the border right here, maybe? Oops. Yeah, this looks like a border crossing. So people who don't know, if you're from the US or wherever, Europe has kind of like inside the European Union, it has a very unique kind of situation where there are no border controls between the countries which are inside the Schengen area. The Schengen zone is this area of Europe where the countries who opt in, there are absolutely no border controls. So you still got the infrastructure, like here for example, we're crossing through a border crossing, there's a lot of infrastructure where you could imagine there used to be customs checks and all this sort of thing, and passport control, but now, nothing, you just drive straight across. It's all part of that European integration. Citizens, so basically the basic rule is if you are a citizen if you're a citizen of any European, if you're like a national, I should say, if you're a national of any European Union country, you are free to live, work, travel, or retire in any other European country. There are some regulations there are some, you know, there are some things you can't just like, oh, you know, you're not undetectable in that sense. You know, when I went to Germany to live for a year during university, I had to go to the town hall and sign up and say, I'm here, this is the purpose, blah blah blah. But there's like no like issue, like there's nothing you have to prove. There are some restrictions where, you know, if you move to a country, you might not be able to claim benefit, for example, if you haven't lived in the country for long enough. For example, you know, I know it's a little bit different now because of Brexit and everything, but for example, in Spain I can't vote. Only nationals have the right to vote. It just depends on the country. Every country's going to do it slightly different ways. But more or less, you know, there is freedom of movement between all the countries. It's just a right that's given to all European citizens. And then it's same with the single market and the customs union and everything. If you have a business in a European Union country, you are free to trade with any other European country. So you can sell your product. If I'm in Spain, for example, I can sell my product to a German. And there is a minimal amount of like restriction to do so. There is a little bit of paperwork that has to be done, but very, very little because it's inside. Okay, thank you, Doug. We will do. We're turning off here. So yeah, we're inside the customs union, so there's no tariffs. That's actually a shock because now the UK has left the customs union, which it didn't have to, by the way, because it's a Brexit thing. But they didn't have to leave the customs union. They could have been outside the customs union. Oh, inside the customs union, but outside the European Union. For example, Turkey. Turkey's not a European Union country, but it's inside the customs union. It's agreed to be inside the customs union. So a package got sent to me from the UK, and I had to pay something like 50 or 60 euros of import tariffs, which was not very nice, but never mind, now I know it. So I'm not doing that again. So yeah, but you know, you can sell products or buy products between European Union countries with very little restriction. So it's one massive market. So don't think of it as like the German market and the Spanish market, which it is. Like every country has its own market, but it's now a market of 500 million people. So obviously then economically, when European Union countries want to negotiate with, say, America or Canada, for example, to do trade deals, they negotiate as an entire bloc, not as an individual country. So Germany doesn't have to make its own trade deal with America or Canada or whoever, and then France has to do it, and then Spain has to do it. Now the whole European Union does it at once. So they've got a lot more clout. There's like 500 million people. That's a massive market that you can get access to, but obviously there are rules and restrictions and things for third countries if they're trying to trade with the European Union.
Get ready to turn right.
So that's why with this game, you know, there are many border controls. I think when you go further east and you go to some of the countries, like for example, when you go into Turkey, there are border controls because Turkey is not inside the European Union, so they're not part of Schengen. There are some others now, I guess, with the West Balkans, because some of them are not inside the European Union, so there'll be border controls for them as well. But, you know, between Portugal and Spain, and then Spain to France, and then France to Italy, and Italy into Austria, and now into Slovenia, no border controls at all. You just drive straight across. And if you're driving in a car or in a train, you don't have to show your passport. I think only you have to show passport maybe when you're flying, but that's more of like as a anti-terrorism thing, I think, rather as a security thing, rather than as a border control type thing, you know, in that sense. But I think, you know, if you're traveling inside the European Union, you don't need to show your passport. You just have to show, maybe if your country has a national identity card instead, you can show that. The UK doesn't. It's always passport, because we don't have an identity card. So yeah, it just makes it all really cool. So even though you got all these different countries with their own national governments and their own, you know, political ideologies and all that sort of thing, you can just, if you're a European Union citizen, you can drive straight across without any problem. I've never been to Maribor. I don't know if this is a new city because of the West Balkans DLC, or if it's just, it was on the edge of the map before and I've never been here. I think this is brand new. It looks like it's done in very high detail, just like the
Get ready to turn left.
Previous DLCs. That's cool. Okay, where are we taking this chocolate to then? Turn left. Okay, we'll do. Any other cars coming? Nope. And then we have to turn left.
Turn left.
Okay. Where exactly do I have to turn left? Up there? Oh no, I have to go. Oh, I have to go into the gate here. Ah, right, okay, that's where I need to go. Oh, we made it, folks.
Finally, we are here.
Yeah, finally we're here. Right, I'm going to have to reverse up there. What's the easiest way to do that? I don't know if I'll be able to turn around up there, so I might turn around here and then reverse up. That might be easier. And then you can see my sick reversing skills. When I say sick reversing skills, it probably means I'm going to plow into the back of something. Or jackknife or something. Oops. There we go. So all the companies that you see in the game, like the trucks are real. So obviously I've got a Renault here, which got released a couple of years ago. I think it's called the Renault T Evo or something like that. But all like the company names are fake, and all the petrol and gas station, or how do you want to call them? Sorry, I'm British, I always say petrol station. The petrol stations are fake. So obviously they have to, when they make these DLCs, they have to invent fake names for everything. There's a lot of like design. I remember when they released the Iberian DLC. I hope the background noise is not too loud for you when I'm talking. When they released the Iberian DLC, they did a special release live stream on Twitch where they had different people who worked on the DLC come in and chat about it. And one of them was the graphic designer, and she was explaining how she had to put together like all the fake companies and all that sort of thing. So she took inspiration from real companies, but obviously she had to do it so that it wasn't like a rip-off. Because then they'd get into like marketing issues and all this stuff. They're not licensed to have these company names and things. But there's a lot of detail that goes into it. It's very impressive. Oh, perfect. Did it first time. Yeah, reversing. When you first learn to play this game, reversing is one of those things that it takes a while to get your head around. I'm not very good at it. You'll notice there that I had to stick my head out of the cab to do it. Some people can do it like properly by using just the wing mirrors. I can't do that. But that's fine. You just play the game how you want. That's the thing, like, that's the cool thing. I said it at the beginning. I'm not very straight here, but never mind, that'll do. I play on Xbox controller and I just use a little bit of keyboard controls at times when I can't use the controller. There's some people who have like really expensive, you know, like wheel setups and VR and all this sort of thing. There's some who just play on the keyboard. But you just play the way you want, basically. And it's in that sense, it's a very accessible game. You don't have to buy all this amazing kit to make it work. And you can turn down the graphics very low as well. So if you're on a laptop that's not very powerful, you can play it. It's just lovely. And they've now got a multiplayer mode, so you can go into a convoy with your friends or with random people on the internet, and you just drive around. You can take the same jobs, you're delivering the same thing, or you can just go onto the map together and you can all see each other driving around the map of Europe. Or America. They got an American one as well. So anyway, I'm going to stop, turn off the engine, and uncouple. And we finished our journey. Look at that. I wasn't expecting to do all one long journey. I thought I was going to do like a couple of like short ones, but it worked out. 3,000 kilometers, almost. So how far is that in miles? I should have probably told you that at the beginning. Oh, look at that. Huge XP boost. And 100,000 euros in the bank. Get in. Not that I need it, but never mind. Yeah, what is that in miles? I can't do basic maths. Especially going dividing. That's hard. Multiplying I can do. 1,800 miles, more or less. I don't know what that would be in American terms of like how far across the country that would be, but there you go. So yeah. I think that's a good way to wrap up this video. I was thinking of maybe doing a slightly longer video, but I think just given I can't do any more now because it's lunchtime for me, and we did a nice long trip, I think that's the perfect place to stop. But I think, yeah, I'll definitely record another one of these. I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about, but I'll go through all the questions and see, you know, what things. I think I didn't talk about. I talked about Fear of Dracula and like playing tabletop simulator and watching tabletop series on YouTube, but I didn't actually talk about other board games that I like. So that's something we can talk about in the next episode. And I'll go through the comments and things and see if there's anything else. And honestly, I can just chat about random stuff, and we'll see what happens during the journey. See, I apologize about the little bit of lag, but I think it worked out. I had some test videos that I did where the lag was awful. I don't know what causes the lag. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if it's like my laptop needs to like warm up, or maybe if I'm constantly tabbing in and out of the game to look at OBS, maybe that's what causes it. I don't know. It's all a bit strange. But the lag was actually not too bad. There were a couple of moments, but I think it's just because the map is having to spawn and it gets a little bit stressed. But apart from that, it worked pretty well. So we went all the way from the south of Portugal here. So we went up, just remind me, we went all the way this way. Once we got up towards Granada, and we didn't go up to Madrid, we cut across just past Valencia, or Valencia, how you want to say it, up around Barcelona, along this sort of eastern road. What I really want them to do is to add a road that goes down here from Toulouse and then south and go through Andorra and then down this way, because that'd be a very beautiful mountain road to see. And you actually see like the real, you know, majesty of the Pyrenees, because the two roads that they've got so far. I mean, this western road here that goes through by Bayonne and Pamplona and Bilbao, you know, the Basque Country, this area here, very beautiful. I think it's more beautiful than this road, actually. But this one I use more often just because it's very easy to get across into France this way, rather than cutting across France. We could have done it. We could have maybe gone up. Yes, maybe I missed a trick there. Maybe we could have done it where we gone up via Madrid and up this way, and then we could have cut across Clermont-Ferrand, Zurich, and down this way. But it's fine. It all worked out. We had a really nice trip. The Mediterranean coast was beautiful. So the point I was pointing out, they were by the sea, was all along this section by Genoa. Absolutely beautiful. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. And again, as I said, I'm not doing this for like lots of views necessarily. It's just to keep people company. If you wanted to watch this to, you know, just listen to me chat and learn more about me, then that's great. If you did it just to keep company while you're trying to do some work, or to get you through, you know, the Christmas holidays or whatever, then that's great. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. If there's anything you want me to talk about, you can let me know in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. If you don't want to leave anything, that's absolutely fine. No problem. Yeah, I think I'll probably try and record another one before Christmas. We'll get a couple up over Christmas time. So if you're watching this, there'll probably be another episode coming out maybe in the next, you know, few days, maybe a week or so after this, and I'll probably try and record one every sort of like month or so, and we'll just go around Europe. That's the plan. So yeah, I'm going to head off, folks. Hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you for another one very, very soon. Take care, everybody. Thank you for watching, and yeah, Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.